Good evening, everyone. The time is 7:40. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have a special guest tonight, Senator Benson. I will ask if she would do the invocation, please. Mr. Stewart, make sure the mic is on, please.
Good evening, everybody. It's a wonderful day. Allergies are acting up, but it's okay. I'm still here, so that's a good thing. Amen. It's good to see everybody. Bow your head for a moment, please. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His grace and mercy never comes to an end. For they are new every morning. New every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. Heavenly Father, we say thank you. We thank you for this day. We don't care what it's doing outside. We're just glad to be here. We thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for every single thing that you have done for us. Thank you for providing an opportunity for us to gather in this place. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for the faithful souls that are sitting here. We thank you for each council member. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for those who are in authority. We thank you for the mayor. We thank you for the police department. We thank you for everybody who's about the business of raising the bar for Glenarden, Maryland. A wonderful place. A wonderful place. So we thank you, Heavenly Father, for this gathering. And as we gather this evening, we ask you to anoint the agenda. May everything we say and do be to your glory and to your honor. If there's anything that we have done that's not in keeping with your Holy Spirit, we ask you to forgive us. Help us, Heavenly Father, to see what the purpose is. And that is to stay laser straight, laser sharp, laser focused on the business. So that this community, Prince George's County, the state of Maryland, even this country, will be a much better place once we're gone. We thank you, Heavenly Father. So help us, Heavenly Father, to do those things that are right and pleasing in your sight, because you truly are our strength and our Redeemer. Once again, anoint this agenda. May everything we say and do be to your glory and to your honor. We want you to know we love you, we adore you, we magnify your name. Thank you for good health and strength. Lord, if we prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed, we just couldn't thank you enough for all that you have done for us. Our bridge over troubled waters, our light in dark places, helping us, Heavenly Father, to see our way. We thank you. Thank you for every opportunity to serve. Help us to be what you would have us to be. We love you once again. We adore you. We magnify your name. And when we leave from here and go to our places of destination, may we find everything decent and in order. We want you to know we love you. We adore you. We magnify your name. For it's in your matchless name we pray. Hallelujah and amen.
Thank you. Mr. Gray, can you make sure people online can hear, please? Madam Clerk, could you do the roll call?
Sure. Council President, if I may remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded.
Thank you. This meeting is being recorded.
Councilwoman Fareed?
Here.
Councilwoman Guillaume?
Here.
Councilmember Hairston? He's online, I'm sorry. Councilman Hairston? I'll come back. Councilman Herring?
Here.
Councilwoman Jones?
Here.
Council Vice President Ferguson?
I'm not certain.
They can hear.
I'm not certain they can hear.
Why don't you open your mic up and call them?
It may be an echo, if you'll forgive me.
She can't hear.
They can't hear us. So we can't hear Harrison.
Councilman Hairston? Councilwoman Ferguson?
Here.
Thank you.
The sound just came on for me.
Thank you.
Can we have audio of the meeting, please?
It's very low.
Mr. Gray, can you turn the volume up for those who are online, please? On everything, on YouTube, Zoom. Okay. All right. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Harry?
For the ordinance 06, 2024, I mean, that is like 19 pages long. And it went through the attorney, and there's a lot of changes in that ordinance. I really think that we really need to sit with the attorney and see exactly what they're trying to do with this ordinance. I mean, I looked over some of it, but I'm not too sure what was being done. My concern is that this ordinance looked like it's putting in place criteria for curb cuts. And what I don't want is us to vote on an ordinance that allows certain curb cuts. If somebody meets certain conditions, then we have to open up the curb. I want it to be known that we can deny somebody the right, we can deny the right to open up a curb cut. But I don't know if this piece of legislation actually does that. I mean, it's a lot involved in this, and it's 19 pages of changes. Because what I don't want, again, is another house like we got on Glenarden Parkway being allowed if we pass this piece of legislation and they meet our criteria and we cannot deny them the right to open up that curb. So I just think we need to really look at this and maybe get the attorney on board to really tell us what they're doing. I mean, it's a lot, so.
Thank you. Any opposition to tabling ordinance 06, 2024? Okay. Is there any other discussion for the agenda? Hearing none, we will move forward. Is there any objection to the amended agenda? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, the agenda is hereby adopted. The amended agenda is hereby adopted. Okay.
Recording in progress.
So we're gonna have to do that over.
No, it's still been recording.
No, Councilmember Hairston and Councilmembers Ferguson cannot hear.
Recording stopped.
All right, so we have a motion to adopt the amended agenda. Vice President Ferguson and Councilman Hairston, the amended agenda is to table ordinance 06-2024 ordinance of the city of Glenarden for the purpose of
Recording in progress.
amending chapter 142. Do you have any objections to that?
No. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, the sound just came back.
Can you hear me? Yeah, see, it doesn't work if I don't open my computer.
Mr. Harrison, do you have any objections? Hearing none, the agenda is adopted. Mr. Gray, there's a feedback in the council chambers. All right, there's still feedback, Mr. Gray. All right.
Is your mic open? It's closed. All right.
So first up is Mr. Gray. This is feedback. It's echo in the council chambers. And I don't have my mic on. All right. It's getting lower. Thank you, Mr. Gray. All right, first up are the minutes for a work session on March 4th, the public hearing on March 12th, the regular session on March 18th, and the public hearing on March 21st. Is there a motion to adopt these minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none by unanimous consent, these minutes are hereby adopted. Now we'll move on to legislation. First up is R-49-2024, a resolution to authorize a contract with TK Elevator Company for the manufacture of an elevator for installation at City Hall subject to certain conditions. Madam Clerk? Hey, Madam Clerk, you'll have to open your mic so people on. Yeah. Just, I don't even know if you need the mic.
Resolution 49-2024. The sponsor is Councilman Herring on behalf of the City Council. The public hearing was held on May 15th. It was introduced on May 6th, and we're here in regular session. A resolution to authorize a contract with TK Elevator Company for the manufacture of an elevator for installation in City Hall, subject to certain conditions. Whereas the city has budgeted for installation of an elevator in the municipal building as part of an effort to comply with federal ADA requirements, and whereas Red Leaf Architects have recommended TK Tyson Crump Elevator Company for the manufacture of an elevator to be installed in the municipal building, one of two manufacturers of an elevator in the U.S. And whereas the city has received a proposal from TK Elevator Company for the purchase of an elevator manufactured by TK Elevator with installation to be performed by another contractor of the elevator shaft, lobby, reconfiguration of steps adjacent to the building where the elevator and the elevator lobby will be located, with the proposed contract shown as Exhibit A attached to this resolution. Whereas the council has determined that it is in the public interest to select TK Elevator as the manufacturer of the elevator for the municipal building. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session this 20th day of May, 2024, as follows. Number one, that TK Elevator Company's proposal of $91,500 for the manufacture of the elevator to be installed, plus additional items offered by TK Elevator Company for a cost not to exceed $107,350 for upgrades that may be selected by council. Two, the council president is authorized to sign the contract with TK Elevator as set out in Exhibit A attached to this resolution. Three, payment for the elevator manufacturing shall be charged to FY24 capital budget line item 7632-30-80-10. And number four, this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt this agenda?
So moved.
I'm sorry. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
So,
Moved by Councilman Herring, second by Councilwoman Fareed. Any discussion? Councilwoman Jones.
Council
Council President, thank you.
There
There was an email that I saw that was sent by the prior city manager concerning the selections for this elevator. We just need to make sure that the city manager now checks with Ms. Felder to see if these selections need to be made before. If the selections need to be made prior to not accepting the resolution, but accepting the contract.
Huh?
Yes.
All right. Any other
Any other discussion?
Any
opposition?
Hearing
Hearing none by unanimous consent, R-49-2024 is hereby adopted. Next up is R-50-2024. Council Clerk.
R-50-2024. The sponsor is Robin Jones, Councilwoman. At the request of administration, the public hearing was held on May 15th. The introduction was May 6th, and we're here in regular session. A resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2024 Ford E350 Starcraft bus from Apple Ford. Whereas the administration seeks the council's approval to authorize the purchase of the public works vehicle within the current budget under budget line item 8372.30.80.10, and whereas the city council has previously approved the allotted funds in FY24 budget ARPA funds to purchase the 2024 Ford E350 Starcraft bus, and whereas it is necessary to purchase the 2024 Ford E350 Starcraft bus, the VIN number is not known at this point, from Apple Ford at the price of $123,716 as attached in Exhibit A. Whereas, in accordance with the Charter, Section 818C, the administration has found that the Baltimore County contract number 0004504 has conducted a similar competitive bid and procurement process to that the city of Glenarden to authorize purchase from Apple Ford for the purchase of vehicles. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session this 20th day of May, 2024 as follows. 1, that the purchase of a 2024 Ford E350 Starcraft bus from Apple Ford at the price of $123,716 per the quote attached as Exhibit A to this resolution be it hereby approved, and 2, payment for the vehicle shall be made from line item 8372308010 support equipment vehicles under the capital project function within the fiscal budget, and 3, this resolution shall take effect upon immediate passage.
Thank you,
Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Barry?
Yeah, I guess my thing is, and while I know we need a bus, is this the right size bus that we need? This bus currently holds 11. I think it's 11 people. So right now we run to like, what, Mr. Simpson, how long does the bus run now?
It's been suggested to do a feasibility study to get some exact numbers there. I don't have those exact hours just yet. I do know there's a morning shift, and it runs from the drive here from about, I think, 8 till 2 p.m. But I can get that confirmed.
Okay, because if we get the senior center going back up like we intend to, we probably have more usage, and if we extend the hours, we'll have more usage. So will we need a bigger bus if we're going to be having trips? Will we need a bigger bus for that? So I'm just saying, if we buy this bus, we have to buy another bus 4 years down the road, a bigger bus 4 years down the road. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It was a study done, how many people are currently riding it. I know it's not that many because, I mean, the seniors tell me it stops too early for them. They can't utilize it, you know, if they go to a doctor's appointment. You know, some of them have a doctor's appointment at 10 or 11 o'clock and they're not out until 3 or 4. So I'm just looking at, you know, is this the right size bus that we need for what we intend to do? And will this be the right size bus we need long range, looking at a long range? So that's just my concern.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Fareed?
Thank you, Council President. I believe when we reviewed this before, we said we were going to obtain and attach the Baltimore County contract. I thought we said that. So we were going to obtain that for the documentation of what we're planning to do.
Can we
certainly get it to you, yes.
Okay.
So it's attached to the resolution, so it's complete.
Okay. Councilwoman Jones?
And this bus also has a wheelchair lift for 2 wheelchairs.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. And the bus we have now is not running, so we are in need of a bus.
What's the capacity of our current bus that's not running?
I want to say maybe 13 passengers. I can get that information confirmed. And it has one wheelchair position with one wheelchair right now.
Okay.
All right.
So the one that we're voting to purchase is 11 capacity. Okay.
All
All right.
Any
other discussion? Councilwoman Fareed?
Yes, just thinking about what Councilman Herring has said, maybe in addition to looking into the feasibility study on the amount of passengers and the times, that we should look at the cost of chartering buses, because I think what Councilman Herring is talking about are those situations where we're taking long-term trips. So we would want to compare what the cost of purchasing a smaller, maybe everyday vehicle is, and then chartering buses in addition to that, so that we can have kind of a complete picture to compare the cost of doing this smaller bus and charters versus the cost of a larger bus that would hold more people.
Okay. So are you asking to table this resolution until this can be done? Or you want to move?
Well, I think this bus is appropriate for the daily use. I think a bus that would be typically used for trips would be just too big for every day. But I think maybe we should table it so that we can do that cost comparison so that we can be satisfied with it. This would be really cool. Councilman Herring, if that was satisfied. So.
We can move forward with this. I'm fine with moving forward. I mean, we need a bus, but I'd just like to, you know, make sure we get the bus that we need. You know, I don't want to have to come down the road 4 years later and need to trade it in and get another one. So
you're comfortable moving forward with this?
We can move forward with it.
Okay.
And one of the issues is with purchasing a bus is many of the buses that you find are not in a local area. To purchase. Buses are purchased in Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Ohio. Even though the dealers here say that they can obtain a bus or get a bus, the problem is you have to wait such a long time to get one, and we just happened to find one, a new one in what was it, Columbia or Appleport is in I think Columbia. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just go voice. Did I have a second? Yeah, we did. Voice vote, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Fareed?
Yes.
Councilwoman Guillaume?
Yes.
Councilman Hairston?
Yes.
I don't think he's on.
I said yes.
Councilman Herring?
yes.
Councilwoman Jones?
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferguson?
Yes.
And Council President Curtis?
Yes.
Vote is unanimous, vote carries.
Thank you. Next up is R-51-2024, a resolution to approve the House of Thread winter newsletter expense. Madam Clerk.
Resolution 51-24. The sponsor is Council President Curtis on behalf of administration. Public hearing was held May 15th. The date of introduction was May 6th. A resolution to approve payment to House of Thread for the winter edition of the city newsletter. Whereas the winter edition of the city newsletter ran over the spend limit of the city manager due to the approval by the city manager of adding full pages for the Intergenerational Poverty Fund application and for United Community Against Poverty applications for weatherization and Clean and Green Communities program for city residents to assess. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the council of the city of Glenarden, sitting in regular session this 20th day of May 2024, has determined, 1, the authorization to be given to pay House of Thread $7,205.84 for the production of mailing the winter newsletter to be charged to the budget account number 1075108110. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution? Moved by Councilman Herring. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Fareed. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Herring.
We basically have to pay this because the newsletter went out. But I think that administration need to be sure they do their due diligence when it comes to this newsletter, because you can get a quote on how much it's going to cost before the print job is done. This going this many pages over, and I think it went almost $1,000 and something over. Yeah, $1,205 over the authorized limit of the city manager. So I just think that, administration needs to be sure that they run their cost estimates before the print job is actually done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Herring. Any other discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none by unanimous consent, this resolution is hereby. Next is R-52-2024, a resolution to approve expenditures for street and sidewalk improvements to be done in wards 1, 2, and 3 by NZI Construction. Madam Clerk.
Resolution 52-24. The sponsor is Council President Curtis on behalf of the administration. Public hearing was May 15th. And was introduced on May 6th. A resolution to approve expenditures for street and sidewalk improvements to be done in wards 1, 2, and 3 by NZI Construction. Whereas City Council asks the city manager in their March 2024 council meeting to have city engineers from Charles P. Johnson Jr. and Associates upon the recommendation for urgent street and sidewalk repair needs, and identify and include urgent needs for wards 1 and 2, in addition to the urgent needs already identified in Ward 3 and sidewalk improvements. And whereas CPJA has presented their recommendations for urgent needs for wards 1 and 2 to the city manager and the public works director for a total addition amount of $112,000. And whereas the Ward 3 urgent need recommendation in the March 29 memo from the city manager was $182,226 as derived from CPJ recommendations. And whereas it is the recommendation of the city manager to allocate the remaining capital funds of $251,700 for sidewalk repairs and the remaining capital budget funds allocated for street repairs of $660,193 to include urgent needs identified by the city engineers in all 3 wards for street and sidewalk repair. Whereas Council passed Resolution 4-24 on September 5th, 2023, to award NZI Construction with an indefinite quantities contract, and Resolution 4-24 noted that Prince George's County had conducted a competitive bidding process and awarded an indefinite contract to NZI Construction Corporation, PG County Contract 932-8, to perform all road improvements specified in the county contract and the city's bidding process in Section 818B of the city charter has been satisfied by the county extending their contract with NZI until December 31st, 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Glenarden, sitting in regular session this 20th day of May, 2024, gives approval for: number one, the City Council authorizes NZI Construction to undertake all of the identified urgent street and sidewalk improvements in wards 1, 2, and 3 per the city engineer's recommendation to include, but not limited to, the following streets: 5th Street, 7th Street, Gary Lane, Gary Court, Barcroft Road, Laval Court, Jeff Road, Glenarden Parkway, Fulton Avenue, Oak Knoll Drive, Johnson Avenue, Leslie Avenue, Cocker, Delwood Avenue, Fisk Avenue, and Piedmont Avenue. 2, the cost of these street and sidewalk improvements shall not exceed $251,700 for the sidewalk improvements and $660,193 for street improvements, for the total amount of $900,011 and $893. 2, be charged to the capital budget account 7632-30-80-10. This resolution shall immediately become effective upon passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Maher?
Yes, Mr. President. What is an indefinite quantities contract?
Next. From my understanding, Prince George's County, is parameters for their unit point pricing. That gives an indefinite amount of work as long as you stay within that particular price. That's how.
And if we don't?
I would say if we don't
Stay within a certain, you're saying, so they'll give them a certain amount of work.
Meaning, as long as we stay within that unit pricing, then we can do as much better as we'd like to.
Okay, so does it run over multi-years?
Yeah, so they have an extension, NZI with Prince George's County, independent which each year, I think it's either a yearly or a 5-year contract. I can get that information confirmed. But they do have to have that contract renewed. And it ranges anywhere from a year to 2 years from mine.
Okay, because we can't go no more than 3 per the chart. 2 automatic renewals, and I think we may want to put that in here somewhere that the council will do, because if we don't get it done in 2-3 years, we're gonna have to either bring another resolution for a new contract, but our charter don't allow us to go more than 3 years when it comes to the contract. So you can do 1 year and 2-year extensions, 2 1-year extensions. So a total of 3.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any opposition?
Mr. President, I'd like to ask for a voice vote.
All right. Madam Clerk?
Now, Rick is telling me to turn on my mic, just so you.
Well, Mr. Gray, there's still a small feedback. And it was low before, but it's progressively getting louder.
He did, but I'll just leave it the way it is. Right. I'm trying to talk louder. Councilwoman Fareed?
I would only add before I give my answer the same comments that you had previously around attaching the contracts for reference. But yes.
Councilwoman Guillaume?
Thank you. I will only add that we take what I believe what Councilman Harris stated, that it's stated here somewhere that we can't go over 3 years. So my vote again.
Councilman Herring?
Yes, with the amended changes.
All right. Councilwoman Jones?
Yes, with the amended changes.
Councilwoman Ferguson?
Yes, with the amended changes.
And Council President?
Yes, with the changes, but you forgot Councilman Hairston.
Councilman Hairston?
Yes, with the amended changes. I was just about to say you just skipped over me.
We can't hear you, Councilman Hairston.
Y'all can't hear me?
I can hear you now.
I said yes with the amended changes, and I was gonna say, yeah, you definitely skipped over me. My bad, I got the Wendy's headphones in.
You said yes with the amended changes.
Council President.
Vote carries. I'll have to amend the changes, so.
All right.
Council President.
Yes, Vice President Ferguson.
We cannot see, well, I can't see you who's talking, up there at the desk. I think that was fixed once before. That when you speak up there, that it will zoom in on you all. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gray, when someone is speaking, can you please zoom in on the speaker, please, so people online can see who's talking? Thank you. All right, now I'm going to drop Council. Next up is Resolution R-53-2024, resolution to approve a proposal from NZI Construction for construction of new sidewalks on Glenarden Parkway from McLean Avenue to Maryland Route 704. The sponsor is Councilwoman Angela D. Ferguson, Vice President, Councilmember Maurice Hairston, Councilman and Councilmember Kathleen Guillaume, Councilwoman. The public hearing was held on May 15th, and the regular session, the date of introduction was May 6th, and will be voted on today, May 20th. Whereas citizens, Mr. Gray, can you please turn the feedback down? Thank you. Whereas citizens of the city of Glenarden brought a request to Council Vice President Ferguson for new sidewalks on Glenarden Parkway for the safety of residents who currently walk in the street or grassy area to and from Route 704 on Glenarden Parkway. Whereas Prince George's County has conducted a competitive bidding process and awarded an indefinite quantities contracts to NZI Construction Corporation to perform all of the road improvements specified in that county contract. And the county has extended their contract with NZI Corporation to the end of the calendar year 2024. And whereas Prince George's County purchasing policies are comparable to those of the city, and whereas the council declares that the provisions of Section 818B of the city charter have been satisfied so as to justify the waiver of the competitive bidding process required by Section 818A of the city charter. Now, therefore, be resolved by the city, by the council of the city of Glenarden, sitting in regular session as 20th day of May 2024, has determined, number one, that the attached proposal from NZI Construction dated May 3rd, 2024 is accepted at a cost of $23,055. Number two, that the approved cost for the construction work will be charged to FY Capital Budget Account number 7632-30-80-10. And number three, that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes,
Yes,
Mr. President.
Councilmember Herring.
Yes,
Yes,
I think we need to basically pinpoint the section on Glenarden Parkway, because it's saying the sidewalk on Glenarden Parkway. I think we need to put in there, like on 916, maybe for a new sidewalk on Glenarden Parkway between Plain Avenue and 704, so that we know exactly the section we're talking about.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any opposition to adopting this resolution as amended? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, the amended resolution is hereby adopted. Next up is Resolution 54-2024, a resolution to hire Kevin Best as special counsel to the City Council for legal work assigned by the City Council. Madam Clerk.
Resolution 54-2024.
You're gonna have to speak up.
I'm sorry. Resolution 54-2024. Sponsor is President Curtis. On behalf of the City Council, public hearing was May 15th, and the date of introduction was May 6th. A resolution to contract with Kevin Best as special counsel to the City Council for legal work assigned by the City Council. Whereas the City Council has asked for a proposal by Attorney Best for the purpose of undertaking special legal work, including but not limited to providing advice for annexation, and his engagement letter dated April 17th, 2024, as provided as Exhibit A. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Glenarden, sitting in regular session this 20th day of May, 2024, has determined that 1, the letter of engagement dated April 17th, 2024, received from Attorney Kevin Best is hereby accepted. 2, the assignment of legal work shall be approved by the City Council with the Council President or Vice President authorizing payment of legal bills to be charged to the budget line item, Legal Services Account 1025108211. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage.
Is there a motion to adopt this resolution? Moved by Councilwoman Fareed. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Herring. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilmember Herring.
Yes, this contract has the same thing that was in another contract that we looked at. They would do an automatic renewal for a 1-year period. I have a problem with it. Yeah, here's automatic renewal for a 1-year period at the end of the term. But if we don't use them, we'll say 1 year, 1 day. We say we don't want to use it, we have to have 90 days worth of, we have to give 90 days notice for terminating the contract.
Yeah.
So yeah, this automatic renewal thing. Again, we can only go really 3 years. If we bring them on as our term, that'd be different, but we're bringing them on as special council attorney. So, I mean, it's whatever the company do.
It's only 1 year.
Yeah, the contract is for 1 year, they're being renewed automatically for 1 year. At the end of every year. Item number 5 under the proposal. Who's this? What is? Let me see. Is this? This is they got the wrong one attached here. That's what it is. They got municipal attached to this. Municipal grant services attached to this. That's when I saw that price down there. So yeah, this needs to be updated. So where's the proposal for that thing? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
To the work session.
All right, Mr. Heron, are you looking for it?
I was looking to see if I could find that proposal. Let's see.
So is there a motion to table this?
Yeah, I don't see the proposal in the work session.
We can table it until, we could table it until the end of the reading, but we're in the middle of a motion. So if we table it, we have to, I forgot, we should define when we're tabling it to. So just need that motion to table for a certain time.
Council President, I make a motion that
We table this resolution until the council clerk can obtain the correct agreement that should be attached to this one, and hopefully that can be done while we're in this meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, here it is right here.
Any discussion? Any opposition to table it until we can find the proposal? And now we'll table it until council members have that opportunity to receive the proposal. Yes, I'll read the next one. It's gonna take you that long? Okay. All right, I'll take the next one and then you take the last one.
So it is in the work session.
Council President, Mayor. Yeah, I just want to say that although if the council clerk has to get, we still have to give citizens the opportunity to review it. So if we can find it online, have her share the screen.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You can go
Good
get
at
it.
it, but it wasn't, so you know, it was on the work session on our public hearing.
It was. If you can,
You want me to print out copies for them?
Council clerk, come here for a second. I just want to make sure, I see something on my screen. I don't know if this is what you're referring to.
could you come down for a second?
Yes, ma'am, that's it.
Okay, so should I? I'm trying to say, let me email forward this to you, then you can share the screen. Is that?
Yeah, copy me.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay. In the meantime, I'll read the next one while everybody gets it. All right. All right, next up is R-55-2024. Mic is on. A resolution authorizes a contract with Axon Enterprises to purchase 20 tasers and 7 certification bundles. The sponsor is Derek Curtis, Council President, co-sponsor at the request of the administration. The public hearing was held on May 15th. The date of introduction was May the 6th, and we're voting today on May 20th. Whereas the city of Glenarden, Maryland maintains a police department for the protection of the public health, safety, and welfare, and whereas in order to protect the public health, safety, and welfare, the police department must maintain adequate equipment, and whereas the police department is in need of taser certification bundles to take proper precautions against hostile interactions between police and offenders, as well as to continuously train new and seasoned officers. And whereas, as described in Exhibit A, these bundles include training cartridges, additional handles, docking stations, and battery cartridges for a total price of $69,549.96, paid from budget line item 10-55-50-8360. And whereas the city has previously approved a contract with Axon Enterprises to purchase tasers in R-32-2019, therefore meeting requirements in Charter Section 818C authorizing the purchase to proceed without a formal bid. Now, therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session this 20th day of May 2024, that the city's administration be and is hereby authorized to purchase tasers as described in Exhibit A from Axon Enterprises. The total cost of the tasers is $69,549.96 with 5 installments as indicated. Provided that the authorization to enter into payment agreement be and is hereby contingent upon the City Council's authorization, and that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any opposition?
Mr. President, I'd like to ask for a voice vote.
Councilmember Harring's actual voice vote. Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Fareed?
Yes.
Councilwoman Keown?
Yes.
Councilman Hairston?
Yes.
Councilman Herring?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jones?
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferguson?
Yes.
And Council President Curtis?
Yes.
Vote carries.
All right, next up is R-56-2024, resolution to surplus 2 public works lawnmowers and the kiln. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but Madam Clerk?
Resolution 56-2024. Sponsor is Council President Curtis on behalf of administration. Public hearing was held May 15th and the date of introduction was May 6th. Whereas the city's property has exceeded its useful life, and whereas pursuant to Section 828 of the city charter, the council may need to declare any unusable, obsolete, or outmoded personnel, property, or equipment belonging to the city as surplus property. And whereas these items can be declared as surplus property and sold to the general public or dispose of such. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session this May 20th of
2024, has determined that 1, the administration has declared the attached list as surplus property which can be sold or disposed to the public at the highest bidder or offerer.
2, the notice of sale of surplus property shall be made through the periodic surplus list placed on the municipal center and by circulation throughout the city with the monthly city meeting notice. 3, the sale notice shall identify the means of acquisition to be a sealed bid, informal offer, or on auction date. 4, all revenues collected from the sale of the surplus property shall be deposited with the treasurer. 5, all surplus items which are sold as is, and no guarantee of warranty or any kind is provided.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none by unanimous consent, this resolution is hereby adopted. That was the last one. Now we have to go back and revisit. Which one was that? R dash 54 dash 2024. Council members been able to look at. All right. Ms. Aaron, have you?
Yeah.
You fine with it? Anybody else? Okay. All right. Madam Clerk, could you give me post it right, share my screen for citizens so they can see online? Sir? Put a link in the chat. I don't think I have it. Where this is. Ah, it's here. All right, got it. I'm clear. I still don't think.
No, you got it.
All right. For citizens online who would like to see what we're talking about, this is a proposal for R-54, a resolution to hire Kevin Best as special counsel to the city of Glenarden for legal work assigned by the city council. I know that is relatively small. Yes.
While I respect what we're doing here, I do draw attention to the city charter, section 307, rules and order of business. This document needs to be made 30 days available to the citizens for public inspection. It should be available for them in the administrative offices during that regular hour.
So you cannot just pull up a document and say, hey, we're gonna go with this. The citizens are required by the charter to have 30 days to inspect this document in a bound form with the regular minutes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I will point out that this was available at the work session when we worked on it. It was available at the public hearing. The only snafu was that it wasn't available as attachment and a link to this meeting. So it has been made public to citizens. Thank you. All right. I'm not gonna read that.
Dr. President?
You're not recognized, madam.
Okay.
Okay. I'll read it for those who are in house. As you know, I have been retained by the city manager on February 28, 2024, as special counsel to draft legislation subject to a limited budget of $5,999. It is understood from your recent emails that the council may wish to further retain my services as annexation counsel. This letter outlines the proposed term of a new engagement as special counsel for City of Glenarden. Pursuant to section 903 of the city charter, it is understood that the council has the power to employ such legal consultants as deemed necessary from time to time. With regard to my fees, the billing rate is a discounted municipal rate of $225 per hour. The standard mileage reimbursement rates as established by the IRS or city policy as applicable for travel on behalf of the city may be charged, as well as other out-of-pocket expenses. My law office will honor the terms of this particular engagement through the end of fiscal year 2024, June 2024. Please let me know if I may provide you with additional information regarding my practice. The town will be invoiced on or about the 5th day of each month, which will be due for payment within 30 days. Any retainer fee is waived, but I reserve the right to terminate or suspend my representation in this matter should my invoice become delinquent. I'm happy to have the opportunity to serve the city of Glenarden. If the terms of this engagement letter are acceptable to the city, please so indicate by completing the acknowledgement below and returning the duplicate of this letter to my attention. If further discussion is warranted, please do not hesitate to contact me. And that is the basis of the proposal. Any other discussion? Any opposition?
Mr. President, I'll just be abstaining.
Okay.
Just like to ask for voice vote.
Voice vote. Madam Clerk? No.
Councilwoman Fareed? I'm sorry. Councilwoman Guillaume?
Abstain.
Councilman Hairston?
Abstain.
Councilman Hairston?
Abstain.
It was quick, Councilman Harrison. We didn't hear you.
Abstain.
Oh, Mr. Gray, we can't hear anything. I think the volume on the computer is all the way low.
Abstain.
I'll come back.
Councilman Herring?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jones?
Abstain.
And
Council Vice President Ferguson? I don't know if she can hear me.
Vice President Ferguson and Councilman Hairston, if you
can put your vote in the chat, that'll be great. We cannot hear
the
you.
chat's turned off. Let me turn it back on.
I'm sorry. The chat is one second.
For
For everybody online and in the house, our apologies for technical difficulties. Apparently, we're trying something new this time.
The chat is available now.
All
right.
Oh, she abstained. Doesn't matter then.
Ferguson is staying.
Yeah.
And Councilmember Hairston. Do you see one from him? I think he's on this. But we can move on.
Yeah, it's not gonna pass.
Okay.
You can move on. That's fine. My vote is yes.
The vote fails.
The vote fails.
All right.
All right. Okay. Next up are administrative reports. And then after reports, we'll have citizens' comments. All right. First up, Mayor Cross. 1 second, if we can put the time on there. Doesn't work?
No. I'll be brief.
All right, Mayor Cross.
Citizens of Glenarden, Senator Benson, to all of the city council, to the citizens here in the meeting, thank you so much. This is the mayoral report for the month of April 2024. I still remain unopposed to Charter Amendment Resolution 01-2024. This amends the 809 budget section of the administration and fully removes all checks and balances from the office of the executive to the legislative branch, which makes a singular legislative authority in the city of Glenarden, which then negates the vote which was held in 2021. Unfortunately, this is something that the citizens need to be aware of, as this paragraph essentially removes all checks and balances in the city. The mayor has 16 office calls and meetings over the course of April. We had the mayoral forum with Dr. Adama Kalokwo. She is the ambassador for Impact Sierra Leone. Empowerment and education and building strong partnerships. As we look at the diaspora and the multiculturalism that is associated with the city of Glenarden, as we've grown
expeditiously even over these years. We have been able to support senior trips. So I'm happy to hear the discussion about the bus. So 15 seniors who are now part of the city of Glenarden Grand Travelers. We welcome more those that are over the age of 60 plus. And the intent is to create community unity and expand friendships. This June the 13th, we will be going to Sandy Point and the day at the beach. So please welcome you to Seacross at cityofglenarden.org. I had the honor of being at Oddwood Elementary Earth Day Clean Water Project. I provided the welcome remarks alongside County Councilwoman Jolene Ivy. This is a event in the honor of Earth Day. They are teaching the children about water conservation, soil erosion, and things that, well, this agricultural city of Glenarden, now that we've become so industrialized, may have forgotten. But it's a great history lesson for the children when it comes down to protecting Mother Earth. Youth sports, we did have the Sports Fanatic Challenge from the mayor's office that ran from August to present. We were able to take youth out to Audi Field to see a soccer game from the city of Glenarden youth. We also were able to take them to see a Capitals game, hockey game, which was the first for me and quite exciting. We had an opportunity to go see some basketball with the Wizards. So the youth of the Judge Sylvania Woods Elementary School, sixth graders did do original artwork to combat violence. As a reward, they were selected to go out as part of sports and how sports can be a tactical change to addressing the violence in our community. Participated in the Hidden Disabilities Fashion Show with Blue Runway for Autism. This is a community banquet that educates police as well. Sheriff Carr was there as my partner in the fashion runway. So that was an exceptional opportunity. And the Affordable Connection Program, we have now supported 30 of our seniors with getting connected to the broadband program from President Biden. We looked at empowering our youth through the 446 session of the Maryland General Assembly. And in the mayoral report, I've listed 19 bills that I was fortunate enough to be invited to witness on behalf of this legislative session. And those bills included things like access to attorneys for those that are disabled or are part of the special education program, opportunities for career-focused students, Act of 2024, Family Serves Act. We have a big problem in the city of Glenarden with the street racing. So Senate Bill 0442, we were able to put a bill out for the exhibition riders that are around Glenarden around 2 o'clock in the morning. So we are excited about that. We were also able to support the upcoming task force that will be looking at our returning citizens and the recidivism problem. As we are looking at building a better, stronger community, we have to address what needs and what opportunities are out there so that there is employment when they return home having served their term. Unemployment insurance for our work requirements, exemption for federal civil employees during the federal government shutdown. Many of us in the city of Glenarden thrive off of being federal government employees, and when the shutdown happens, unfortunately, it is the people that are the blue collar workers that don't get paid. So the insurances will authorize the Secretary of Labor to actually do some furlough investigation. Family and medical leave insurance for our people that are first responders, and also burial. Something that's been unique with the NAACP Prince George's County is the military members and their family members and burial support. So for our American Legion Post 275ers, we've done some work as far as helping those that unfortunately, when they have a lost family member, they don't get to actually be buried with them, and now they do have some of that funding that is associated. We did push some election law disinformation and improper influence related to voting. That came through the Ways and Means Committee, House Bill 0333. Very excited about this because, as we know, this is a heated election year. It's already started. It's not going to let up. And what we want is for citizens to have access to a site that helps you dispel the rumors. Equal pay for equal work. I am a big advocate for one fair wage. When it comes down to many of our young folks, this will culminate in June. So I do want to acknowledge two things. Mr. Powell asked us about the 7-Eleven. We did do some research on the 7-Eleven anticipation that there may be some loss of revenues. I did write a letter for them to consider the impact that that new gas station will have on the 7-Eleven at Glenarden. And then also beware, there's a publisher's clearinghouse scam. $300 money orders being requested of our seniors. That's in my report as well for your knowledge. Council President, thank you for the opportunity to address the body.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council on the mayoral report?
Yes.
Councilmember Herring.
Okay.
Please speak.
Oh, okay. I would like to ask about your first item on your report, where it says the city council perpetuates such error in business of the city of Glenarden by continuously attacking the mayor and circumventing the voice of its voters. And the legislation that declares was a vicious power grab based in dishonesties and deceit. Could you expound on that? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you, Councilman Herring, for that question. The concern is that the mayor and the treasurer has, by the charter of the city of Glenarden, been required for all check signing. That is in accordance to section 809 budget administration, and that will be paragraph D, which deals with checks issued in payments for salaries, municipal obligations signed by the treasurer, mayor, and a city council member. This legislation charter amendment essentially takes that particular administrative requirement, which is checks and balances, to ensure that the treasurer, the mayor, which is the CEO, as well as the legislative body, has an appropriate look at what's being spent in the city. And it essentially makes two council members and the treasurer the only check signer in the city of Glenarden, which nullifies what the citizens of Glenarden, when they elected a mayor, expected the mayor to do in accordance to this charter that's in place. This is online, by the way.
Okay, so the charter also says that the council has a fiduciary responsibility to the citizens in this community and make sure that all our legal obligations are paid for in a timely fashion. But the charter does not say anything about picking and choosing what you are and aren't going to sign. And that's the problem that we had why we had to change the charter to keep the business of the city moving forward, because you were continually picking and choosing what you were and weren't going to sign. If you read the charter completely clear, and it says the mayor, the treasurer, and the council members shall sign all checks, not pick and choose what checks you're going to sign or decide to pick up and debt out on somebody because you're upset with it. So, you know, we got to do what we have to do as a council to keep the city moving forward, no matter who stands in our way. We have to do it. You know, we have obligations. It took a long time for the city to get to the level that it's gotten to when it comes down to its vendor. When I came on board, a vendor would not give Glenarden any credit. They said they were not going to do anything for the city of Glenarden until we paid them and our check paid the bank. Then they would do something. So we built that up, and then you start saying, I'm not going to sign this check. I'm not going to sign that check. Vendors are not getting paid. So it wasn't lies and deceit. So I mean, you putting information out there that's not accurate. But I would like, you know, I'm done with that. Okay, I do want to ask another question, Mayor, which is.
No, 1 second. So you've already responded, and then he had a rebuttal, and now he's on to a second question.
I'm working on the second question. And I'd like to share my screen.
I don't have.
Yeah.
Can you make me the host too, please? The co-host, Madam Clerk.
Questions for you.
Please speak up.
Oh, I have a couple of questions for you. So I was looking at this flyer here for your East Extravaganza, and I see that it's sponsored by the Omega Psi Phi fraternity, and at the very bottom it says Collective Impact Foundations Corporation. And so I got a little information. I did a little bit of digging, and this is the Collective Impact Foundation Corporation. So I clicked on contacts, and this is actually your nonprofit organization?
No, that is incorrect.
But hold it. This is your address that says CIFC 2712 Swan Wing Court. That's your house, correct?
So CIFC is owned by a board of directors, and I am a part of the board of directors. Now, the good thing is the city of Glenarden provided zero funding for that particular event. And that event is sponsored through the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Committee, which does not include the city of Glenarden. However, as the mayor of the city, I do support those programs that bring value to our community and to our youth. Almost 300 of our youth were able to receive Easter gifts, meet the Easter Bunny, and also, yes, the Omega Psi Phi's have a community reinvestment project that is part of supporting our youth and growing our communities. Now, Collective Impact, as a regards to this program, essentially just helps bring community partners to support this particular event. So if you really look at it, the city of Glenarden incurred zero costs and incurred zero fees.
Okay, so thank you for that comment. That didn't answer the question. So this is your address as the CIFC headquarters. And you are the president of the board, is that correct?
That is correct.
And your husband is the vice president and treasurer, is that correct? And-
That is also.
Okay, I didn't ask all that. So this is your nonprofit, correct?
It is not my nonprofit. It is owned by a board of directors. And that board of directors is sanctioned through the IRS as well as the state of Maryland.
So this is sanctioned through the IRS. So you have a tax ID number?
This supports a tax ID.
You have a tax ID.
I personally have the tax ID number for this fraud. This organization has one by board of directors.
Okay, and your board of directors includes you, your husband, and the others on here.
They're all board of directors.
Okay, so this is your board. So this is your nonprofit, headquartered at your house, and the board of directors are people that you have on here that you affiliate yourself with. I looked through the whole thing, the whole website, and I did not see a tax ID. So I went to the IRS website, went to IRS.gov, went to the nonprofit database, and you're not listed. So I don't see this anywhere out there with anywhere out there as a nonprofit organization. And you're also asking for donations. That's another thing I'm curious about because, again, your husband is a member of the Omega Psi Phi, correct?
Yes. Now, I don't understand the nature of your questioning, considering the fact that that is not part of the mayor's report for this relatively to the collective impact. Now, here's the question that I have for you, Councilman. Where are we going with this? Because again, the city of Glenarden has no input into Maryland National Capital Park or Planning Commission. Now, the city of Glenarden has been asked if they would be able to support these events and programs, which they refused. And in fact, have taken all budget out of the mayoral community opportunities and community events. So there are programs that are out there that will support that do, in fact, put their hands to the plow. So each one of those community partners, they come out and they actually are there on the ground, delivering goods and being a part of the program. So no, this isn't my program. It isn't Mr. Cross's program. It is held by a board of directors that reinvest in the community.
So, so these items that you're asking for, you're asking for $120 to buy 150 needed, $140 a piece for 150 needed Amazon ebooks and a list of other stuff that you're asking for. And how are you going to get this money? By way of what? Donations?
So there are community programs that are out there that support youth engagement and youth education. They're mostly at a higher level outside. There aren't any grants that have been requested out of Prince George's County, nor have been requested of the city of Glenarden relative to this for the purposes of keeping the lines straight. We definitely do have programs out there that support our youth and youth education. So therefore, yeah, there are persons or groups that do enable us for art and humanities, for sports, and alternative career building in our youth. As we're looking at a youth that not only everyone won't go to college, some people will go to high school, but what we have to do is open up the plethora of alternative career choices, which is part of the Joseph R. Biden program to build stronger youth in our community. So collective impact deliberately networks value and bridging gaps from generation to generation.
Okay, very much for that. We know it's a question. So you take donations. I mean, I see a big donation button right here. So you take donations.
Take donations in as much as that goes to the tax ID. And contrary to what you stated, there is a tax ID, there is a nonprofit ID to this. It's associated and is in good standing in the state of Maryland. So that is available online. We can put that there for anyone that needs it. Please make sure you reach out by the contact and we can share. But ultimately, this is a fully sanctioned, operated nonprofit operating in the state of Maryland, sanctioned by the IRS itself.
Okay, you just said you don't take donations, but it says your donations will be divided by donate now. And I think that's what that, I mean, that's something we read it incorrectly. It does say donate now, correct?
So here's the
So
thing.
you take donations.
I don't. You keep saying you. CIFC is an organization that operates by a board, and that board has a vote on how those things are correctly spent. And then we also have a network of partners. Those partners actually do have an opportunity to support. So those are not coming to me, as you're saying, you take donations. So the program itself does not.
Point of order. So point of order. So once I'll get back to you. So we don't make this longer than it has to. You are on the board of directors. So I think when he's talking about you, he's talking about the board of directors in you. So if we could, Councilman Herring, if you ask a question, that's great, Madam Mayor. If you could just answer it and not go into other areas, that'll be great too, so that we can move on. So, Councilman Herring.
Because this is what's really bothering me is that you this flyer here, you have been nonprofit right down here at the bottom. You have Glenarden seal right up here at the top. This makes it look like the seal of Glenarden is basically sanctioning your organization for this event, and we're not. I know I haven't as a council member, I don't remember it ever coming to a vote of this council that we're going to sponsor your Easter extravaganza. You can, every flyer that you have out here has the city seal on it, and it has your organization down here. This organization that you're the president of, that's housed at your house, on their flyers. So that's a problem for me because you're misleading people, making them think that the city of Glenarden is actually partnering with this event, and that they should donate money to these organizations down here at the bottom who help fund these events. And in the city of Glenarden, that I know, the city of Glenarden has not come out and said we picked the numbers, the organizations that we will help. This isn't one of them. So I think this is very misleading. I think there's something not right about this. For you to have a nonprofit with no tax ID number, and you're using the city seal. You're using the city seal to gain the trust of the people that these organizations, because your organization is really the only one down here that's asking for money. And I don't think that's right or that's fair or that it's fair to the citizens. I don't think it's ethical either. And I think it's something that we may have to look into. Because again, you as a mayor should have no parts of any nonprofit that's collecting money for events that you're holding. That's not the way it's done. You should divest yourself of anything that has to do with that. So I'm just saying, this is an issue that needs to be looked into. It needs to be looked into closely. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Quickly, please.
Yeah, this event was a free event. It required no payment. It was on Eventbrite, and the system was open to not just only Glenarden, but it was open to the district and anyone else that wanted to come. So I, as the mayor of the city of Glenarden, worked with National Capital Park and Planning Commission to actually support getting the gymnasium to support, because it is a youth activity that supports the large community at large. So that's why that's up there. No one should ever take from any program that mayor does that they have any cost to pay. And I think any of the 200 to 300 people that show up to these will tell you they have never been asked for a single dime. Now, the investment of Collective Impact is they supplied all the food for this program. So therefore, when you look at it, they supplied literally the food for it. Now, that's why nobody paid a dime, and every child got a gift thanks to the Omega Psi Phi, which is part of their community reinvestment. So no, this isn't something that citizens should look at as, oh, this costs us money. You paid nothing. You received everything for free. Thank you.
I have a follow-up question real quick. You said who provided the food? Collective Impacts Foundation?
Yes. The partners inside of Collective Impact.
One second. It's just yes or no, if we can keep it there. So how does Collective Impact provide food?
Well, thank you for the question. So each of the partners have a requirement inside of their particular organizations to support the community.
What's the partner?
Part of the community reinvestment. if you will. So folks that support community projects. So as one of the 17 priorities, if you go to the 17 priorities, it should be about us.
Well, one second.
Each one of those network priorities, there are people throughout the state who actually do support those particular priorities, and they're always looking for areas where they can do more in the community. So when I say they provide the food, they come in and they'll support like the water, or they'll support NABs or something like that. So there isn't, again, any cost on the city of Glenarden. And this is 100% on the up and up with the state of Maryland as well as the IRS with a file tax.
Collective impacts pay for food for the event. Yes, no?
Associated within, exactly.
No, one second.
Associated within that support.
So you're saying other people paid for the food, or did collective impacts pay for the food?
Collective impact is an umbrella, and they have partners that come in through the umbrella.
I understand.
It's a larger organization to support.
So who cut the check for the food?
Organizations that support. So they bring in like what they want.
All right, so I get it. So you don't want to answer the question directly, and that's fine. No, you're not answering it. Just like apparently this is not your company, but you are the president of the board of directors and only ran by 3 people, and your address is on here. And what I cannot stand time and time again on every level of government is people talking to regular citizens as if they're not intelligent. I think that the way you're talking to us is not fair to us as council members. It's not fair to people who are listening. I'd rather people just tell the truth and just answer questions. I'm just saying. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. I asked a simple question, and instead of answering a question, you went a roundabout way to say the same thing. I'm a pretty smart guy. Your company paid for this. If it paid for it, it paid for it. What I'm trying to get to is how does it get paid for if it doesn't get donations? Well, whether the people, your partners, donated to your company and then you paid for it, you get donations. What I'm getting to is, Mayor, I've said this all along. I think you have brilliant ideas. I think the way you go about them is completely wrong. If I were to put the seal of the city and represent the city for Glenarden, and then advertise my nonprofit or business on that flyer, that will be unethical.
That's not
If people can on the flyer, if Mayor Cross. So when you spoke, I listened. So when I speak, you have to listen. If you can't, then you'll be interrupting a piece of meeting, and then I'll have to remove you. I do not want to remove you. So if you can respect me as I respected you, that'll be greatly appreciated. All I'm saying is that if this were me, and if I had my business at the bottom of a city-sponsored flyer, then that would be unethical. Would you agree? Yes or no? If you don't agree, you don't agree. But there's
no money being taken.
If I listen to what I'm saying.
Okay, but surely what flyer?
If you don't agree, it's thank you.
Clear.
Thank you.
Remember, I was the chairman of the co-chair, if you will, for the Board of Ethics, and I'm pretty clear on the Board of Ethics.
I understand.
So there isn't any a national or local ethics violation.
So Mayor Cross, listen. If gonna, Mayor Cross, listen, this is your first warning, and I'm not gonna tolerate it anymore. If you continue to overtalk me, then you'll have to be removed. I will hope that we can have a civil discussion. If you don't agree, that's fine. You can say no, and that's acceptable. But I just asked a question. And when you speak, I listen. Even when you overtalk me, you notice I stop and I let you finish. If you could have the same respect for everybody else, that'll be great. Thank you. Councilwoman Fareed.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I can appreciate the line of questioning and the connection that's attempting to be made here, but I do think that the fundamental issue is the use of the city seal on advertisements and events. All of us on the council are involved in many different other activities and we can't necessarily say that when we do an activity with other organizations that we're a part of or associated with, that it's also representing the city of Glenarden. So I think what we need to come to an agreement on is in what condition is the city seal appropriate to be used. And if there's going to be a process around associations that we're collaborating with and vetting those and making sure that they're appropriate associations, I think that's the right thing to do. But I think that should be, a process. I don't know that continuing down this line of questioning right now is going to really get us to a solution of addressing the issue. When people see event posters for the city of Glenarden, they're expecting that the city of Glenarden is sponsoring it or hosting it in some way. So we just need to get more clear around what that actually means. What is that funding? Is that providing space? Like, what does it mean? What are the criteria for the city of Glenarden seal to be used? And I think we can do that offline and come up with a proposal for how we can do that to make sure that it's everything going on with the city we feel is appropriate.
Okay. So I appreciate that, and that was where my questions were going to understand. Because this is my first time hearing about it, so I wanted to understand the totality of what we're talking about, and just who created the flyer and how do we use the seal when we use the seal. Is it appropriate for us to include things on the flyer that where we businesses that we may be linked to. But I can appreciate that this conversation has gone on too long. Not that I wanted to go too long. I just wanted some really short answers. But I can appreciate us wanting to move on. With that, no, ma'am, you cannot.
Let me wrap this up.
Yes.
Let me just say, I really don't care if the mayor has a nonprofit. She can have a nonprofit all she wants to, but it's intermingling it with the city government that's the problem. Because again, these flyers go in the newsletters, these flyers go online. That's all city resources. And your organization will benefit from that. So you're getting free advertising. So it is an ethics issue here. Because you're affiliated with this organization, and it says that you should not be affiliated with any organization. Nobody on this conference should be affiliated with any organization that's going to benefit them. And basically, your organization benefits from free advertisement. It's, like I said, again, it's in a newsletter. It's in a quarterly newsletter. And it's something that we do need to look at because, again, if someone donates to this organization, will we be held responsible if they realize it's not what they want, what it's not supposed to be, what it's not cracked up to be? We have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure the city does not get sued. And you should have that same fiduciary responsibility. So if you want to start a nonprofit, you start a nonprofit, but you should not be involved with it. You should not be on the board. You should not have no say in it. So and that's all I'm saying. Again, this is something that, again, we as a council should not be brushing just aside just because of this.
We're not coming.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of organizations. But we are not part of those organizations. No.
What? Point of order. One second. Okay, hold on, Cass. I'm down.
Today, and they use the discount from her.
Point of order. I have.
She's giving me room.
Point of order.
That check, but you never provide that check, because it has her name and her
order. Point of 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 order.
One second. Mayor Cross, you are being dismissed from this meeting. Thank you.
Point of order.
Thank you.
You gotta get her.
She needs to go.
She's not being honored.
They compete and where they actually have.
Point of order.
And they
point of order.
Captain Jackson.
Her mic.
Order.
I can touch you and
point of order. 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 Mayor, let me just make something very clear. I am not the president of any, please look up Center for Community Change, everybody right now. Look up, hold on, look up Center for Community Change. Hold on, look that up, please. One person at a time, everyone. No, no. Matter of fact, share the screen. You will never share the screen, please. Community Change is a national program. Center for Community Change. A principle of. Pull that up, please. Don't bring that up. Hold on, can we share the screen, please, to Center for Community Change? No, type of Center for Community Change. I want to see, because I've never heard of me being president of a Center for Community Change in my life. So I need to see what this organization is that came and had a check that I cut. Center for Community Change. I am not the president of Center for Community Change. I'll wait.
Oh. Community Change. That doesn't.
Yeah. Can we pull that up, please? Can we show the screen, please, for everyone?
While we're waiting for that, Council President, can I just make some comments? Because I think we're confounding some certain things. Every single one of us up here is involved in the community more broadly than the city of Glenarden. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I'm also a member of Zion Church, the Landover campus. I serve on ministry team there. So I don't think that there's a problem with us bringing resources into the city and partnering with those resources in that way. But I do think it's important for us to have full disclosure when we are partnering together and being very clear on what those partnerships are, so that we're not having these types of questions. But I do not think it's fundamentally an ethical issue for us to access resources. That is a part of how we build communities. We've done it many, many times. For Baptist Church in Glenarden has been a major contributor and supporter of our events. So has Zion Church. And we've done this, and I think it's an opportunity for the citizens. We have to remember that when we're hosting events for the city, it is for the benefit of the citizens. And so long as the citizens are the primary target, which I think is one of the concerns that we have when some of these events are happening and they have the city of Glenarden seal on it, but then city residents don't know about these events, or when you go to the events, they're not primarily attended by city residents. So I think, there are some legitimate concerns, but I don't want to paint a broad stroke that anytime the city is collaborating with other organizations that we may ourselves be members of, that is, an issue in and of itself. Again, I think that we could really benefit from just putting together some policies and procedures around how the city of Glenarden seal is going to be used, in what cases we need to evaluate organizations. Maybe we need to come up with, sort of a preferred collaboration list, sort of like a preferred vendor list, so that we know that these are organizations that are vetted and are appropriate for us to be engaging with. And if there's a new organization, then we go through a process of vetting them and adding them to the list. But I'm sorry. I just don't want us to go down a whole nother road when we can just put policies and procedures in.
Respectfully, Councilwoman Fareed, thank you for that. But I want to be very clear. We have a whole bunch of witnesses online. We have a whole bunch of witnesses over here. And we have all heard what the mayor said. So I just want to be very clear that I know what the meaning of defamation is. And I heard what I was accused of. And you all heard it too. Please click on people, please, and where it says staff. And please show me what my face is. That doesn't look like me. That doesn't look like me. Neither of those 4 people look like me. Neither of those additional 4 people or boxes look like me. Let's keep going. None of these 8 people look like me, or 8 boxes. Another 4. Another 4. Another 4. Keep going. Keep going. Because I'm trying to see where I've been the president of, because I haven't been getting paid apparently for the job that I have.
I think that's it.
Thank you. You all sat here and heard this woman go on a tirade about me. I didn't say a thing to her. I didn't ask any questions. I just let my colleague ask her questions, have her answer their questions, or go on and on about whatever question she wasn't going to answer. How I got my name into Center for Community Change. I don't even know who runs the organization. I don't know these folks at all. They seem to be doing great work. I have never gotten a check or, excuse me, asked for a reimbursement for a check from an organization that I never even asked for services from. I stay in my lane and I know the difference when it comes to ethics and conflict of interest. Respectfully, Councilwoman Fareed, I heard all that you were saying, but I'm not going to let this slide. And I want you all to be here and to be very clear, because what I try to do is to make sure that Glenarden is spotlighted in a positive way. It makes me sick whenever I see Glenarden and something negative is attached to it. But you all right now, all of you right now, you see for yourself what just went down. And I'm saying that because when Glenarden's name is attached to a defamation lawsuit, because I don't play. I stay in my lane. I didn't come for this woman. I didn't say a thing. She not only accused me of leading an organization that I don't lead, nor do I know enough of or about, but then she said, you all heard it, that she had a check with my name on it that I was asking for reimbursement from? Me? That's what happens. You all go and listen to this. And when I say you all, I mean general. I'm not talking about you all individual. You all go, you listen to the sensationalized BS that comes out of a supposed elected officials' mouths, and then you run with it. I have worked way too hard to get to where I'm at right now, to have somebody lie and attach myself to some nefarious act. So process or procedure or whatever it comes with, just know that all of you, all witness, this woman mentioned my name, and this is recorded several times, that I am the president of Community for Center of whatever she said, Center for Community Change, and I had a check with this organization getting service that I wanted reimbursement from. Remember, you all heard that. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on. City manager's report in light of our current situation. Are there any questions for the city manager's report? Hearing none, we'll move on to. Did you say something?
I don't have any questions, but I think it's important for us to state what's happened. Do we have an interim?
Oh, so we do have an acting city manager. Mr. Charles Simpson is now acting indefinitely for the city of Glenarden, and more information to come on that. Okay.
I just wanted to add that because Mr. Simpson was asked several questions this evening that he did not have the answers to, and I did not want anyone to think that our city manager was ill-prepared. This was something that he was tasked with just on Friday, so it now being Monday, he's only had the weekend to kind of catch up on other things. So
yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We had our early meeting morning to catch him up this morning, but thank you, Mr. Simpson. Next up is the Chief of Police report.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
In reference to the Chief of Police report, earlier today in Woodmore Shopping Center, we had an individual who was robbed in the bank. around 2:15, and he was approached by two individuals in a dark colored vehicle. One of the individuals got out of the vehicle with a long gun and took his money, which he had in his hand that he was retrieved from the bank. We're able to get some information in reference to that because Prince George's County Detective Unit interviewed the individual, went to his house. The great thing about it was the individual had a dash camera in his car, was able to retrieve the tag number for the vehicle, which is not stolen, but we do have an address for the location of the car was registered. So we work with DC Police Department right now to see if we can identify these individuals, making the reference to that that robbery that happened up there. Also, lately we've been seeing individuals with their vehicles, leaving their vehicles running, and Glenarden, we had 3 incidents back to back to back. We have one at Northern Black where an individual left his car running, went in Northern Black. Somebody took his vehicle. 2 days after that, we had an individual at the 7-Eleven doing the same thing. That vehicle was stolen. Then we recently had one at 24/7 store right across the street where an individual said he's going to get a bottle of water and his vehicle got taken. So be mindful in turning the vehicle off and locking and going to the establishment. But that happened all 3 of those vehicles were stolen in 4 days in city Glenarden. In reference to a crime report, the crime trend, we're down in all categories, especially vehicle theft. Last year at this time we had 14, we're down to 7. We had missed up in one category, and that's theft, larceny. Last year at this time we had 18, we have 1 by 19, but all other categories we were down. So we just want to make sure that citizens remain vigilant and anything you see, let us know, let the police department know about it. And we keep you updated on all things, what things happen. I know from the last meeting I was there, but there's some questions raised about the noise complaints. I think Councilman Jones, we work on the reference to that in the county. So with noise ordinance, and we had a couple calls this weekend because of graduations and so forth. When we get calls for noise in the county and city Glenarden will move through, and we're going to warn the individual of the noise complaint. If they don't turn the noise down or cease the noise, and we have to come back, we write them a uniform citation, which is like an arrest, and they'll have to. Yeah.
It's not all online. Okay.
And then you'll have to appear before the judge once you give them the issue of criminal citation. In reference to LA Fitness, the individual that was shot at the location, he was released 2 weeks ago. So he's home, he's in better condition now. As we all know, we did make an arrest in reference to that individual who shot him at the time. He's still being held in reference to that.
Street racing problem in the city of Glenarden. That information is incorrect. We don't have street racing problem in the city of Glenarden. We did have some individuals over the weekend. They came up to Woodmore Town Center, but they were meeting. Officers went up there, and they said they was just meeting up there before they went somewhere else. So we did not have a street racing problem in the city of Glenarden. I have been getting information, not directly but indirectly, about police complaints, which I am not aware of. But some council members have expressed that to me about some citizen complaints, and I advise the council members, each and every one of you, anyone that have my information is available on the website. They can call me. We have something online, or you can give my number. I'm available 24/7, And we do have a process with a Police Accountability Board and the ACC. So we want to make sure that the information out there, because we want to be transparent and hold our guys accountable. But at the same time, if we don't know what's going on, we can't do anything about it. So make sure we anybody have complaints. Also, we do have a site on there for accommodations too. If you got a complaint, officers doing something well, also let us know about that, because we want to make sure that we're well balanced and make sure we treat our officers with the dignity and respect they earned. One last thing, well, two other things. I'm not going to get into full details about it, but we did have a citizen that responded up last month while I was away in reference to a complaint that she endured, and she came up and she stated her story. However, she didn't give the whole story. So I would advise the citizens and so forth, if you have a complaint or if you want to tell a story, make sure you tell the full story, because we do have body-worn cameras, and we do investigate thoroughly. But we want to make sure that if you come and tell a story, make sure you tell the whole story, not just your side of the story, and that, because we want to be fair across the board. And last but not least, we'll be having our police cookout on June 8th, Saturday, June 8th, right out back here, like we do every year. This will be our third annual police cookout. So we're inviting the community to come out. We do have it posted on the website, and I do have flyers here in case anybody wants to get one on their way out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Department of Public Works.
Good evening. I'd just like to highlight a couple of points from the Public Works report. We still currently have one vacancy for a tech team. We have received some applications and starting the interview process there. With the Public Works vehicles, we have completed the upfitting for the F550 dump truck, and currently have the tags, permit tag there. Also, to just briefly touch on, and this will be in future reports, the Circuit Park, we have some dates, and it looks like by the end of July, we should have installation of the new equipment.
On our ceremonial opening for the park, and I am open for any questions then.
Thank you. Hearing no questions, I'll move on to code enforcement.
Great. Hopefully the council has had an opportunity to review code enforcement's report. And I would just like to mention a few things and then answer any questions. The part-time code enforcement officer position, we've made a selection on a candidate, and right now that candidate is going through the background screening process. In addition, the most recently purchased new vehicle for code enforcement is operational and is currently being used. Code enforcement had a meeting with the owner of the vacant lot located at 8805 Glenarden Parkway. And this owner is inquiring about when he will have an opportunity to come in front of the council and present his situation. I believe he wants to get a curb cut and start the process of building a single-family home. Code enforcement continue to remove signs that have been illegally placed on poles in the public right-of-way. And then we place a call to the business requesting that no additional signs are installed. Code enforcement had an in-depth discussion with the owner of Picket Fences Senior Services. The conversation was based around a senior citizen residing in an apartment complex within the city limits that thought she was in danger of being evicted. Code enforcement reached out to landlord and tenant court and to the sheriff's department and determined that there was no eviction pending. And finally, code enforcement was notified by the city attorney that the owner of a property located in the 8700 block of Glenarden Parkway filed appeals on the cases that was won by the city on the district level. These cases will have to be adjudicated again on the circuit court level, and to date, there has been no rescheduling of a court date. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Green. Are there any questions for Mr. Green? No, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And finally,
the treasurer's report. Mr. Stewart.
I will give you a quick synopsis of how the city has been operating through March 31st, 2024. Total revenue received to that time is $6,393,790. Total expenses was $5,249,117. This leaves us with
revenue exceeding
expenditures by $1,144,682. The Department of Finance and Prince George's County provided the amount of taxes that we used by the city. It reported that $3,394,393 will be received not only in taxes, but also in special assessment. We received $3,364,004.
we have remaining to the end of June.
We have remaining to the end of June $30,000 to receive.
General fund, as it relates to
General fund,
funds that have
as it relates to funds that have been received. We have local taxes, which include
personal property tax, local taxes, and
local taxes,
real estate
and
taxes
real estate taxes amounting to $3,947,447. We have licenses and permits at $113,000. We have grants of $70,588. Transfers in of $18,000. Service fee or service charge, which is the assessment fund of $579,520, and other financial sources of $391,967.
the
The
goal
goal through to March 2024 has 16,000, or for the month of March, received $16,026. A cash update of the city. Today, the city's cash balance remains sufficient to pay all outstanding bills as they come due. Currently, the bank balance as of May 6th, main account at $2,203,000, forbearance at $7,000. The gold loan account has $230,000. Block grant has $4,000. And PEG cable account has $348,000. A total of $2,816,921. Our investment account, as of April 30th, funds at
the Maryland Local Government Investment Pool amounted to $8,778,000.
The program about the tax rebate
program to date. We have funded or rebate over 404 individuals or 404 residents of the city. This amount to $202,000. The American Rescue Plan, we have 2 grants that are open right now. The Community Resilience Fund, we have paid up to $39,550 to date. There is still $60,000 remaining in that fund. The Intergenerational Poverty Relief Fund, we have spent to date $10,900 with $189,100 remaining. If you have any questions, please could you pass to me now? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions for Mr. Stewart?
I have a question, Council President.
Councilwoman Guillaume.
Thank you for this report, City Treasurer Stewart. Just for record, just to go on record, and I can share my screen if I'm allowed, but I don't think I'll need to. No,
only if I need to. Have I ever asked for a reimbursement from me to your office from an organization called Center for Community Change?
That's for funds to deal with the
Thank you. And citizens also heard that the mayor she stated that she refused to sign a check that I requested for reimbursement for the awards or something along those lines. And that's why she didn't sign it, because it was from Center for Community Change. Am I allowed to share my screen?
Are you on? Yes, you are.
Well, I can't because this is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll stop. Good?
I Can citizens see the screen? As you can see, this was a check, an email from me to Dean Stewart, Beverly Habita, James Herring, who chaired the Glenarden Day festivities. And you'll see, hi, Mr. Stewart, please review below the receipt of payment for the Glenarden Day Awards. I paid this with my personal credit card. So please let me know if you need anything else from me to ensure reimbursement. And you'll see right here, this is from Crown Awards, not from Center for Community Change. Again, you see this right here. And you see the order was placed. And again, the billing information was to me, delivered to me. And here are the details about each plaque. To citizens and to folks who made Glenarden what it is today. So to me, I take it as a huge assault to you all's intelligence as well, because this is the same woman who's going to be chucking and jiving for a photo op when awards are being presented to the same people that I got awards for on behalf of the Glenarden Day Committee. And if anybody saw Center for Community Change on there, please let me know, because this is all new to me. And even if I did, let's say I did work for Center for Community Change, there has never been anything nefariously done on my part in regards to conflict of interest or ethics violation to the city. She may think that it's cute and it's funny and it may be entertainment, but it's not. And I'm only getting emotional right now because I have a daughter. I have a son. I have a husband.
I have a family. And I came from almost nothing to get to where I'm at with this woman to maliciously try to distract and deflect the attention off of great questioning, to put me in it. And I did absolutely nothing. Nothing. Anybody can Google me, research me, do whatever you want. Try to come up with some slanderous stuff. You won't find it because I know how to do things in decency and in order. And what she did right there was slanderous. And you're doing it knowing that there are people who can call you out. I ask you all of you all have her email. You all see her face planted on flyers. Please ask her for a copy of said check that had my name on it. Ask her for evidence of my working for Center for Community Change. She's probably gonna switch it up like, oh, no, I didn't mean this, I didn't mean that. But you all heard her stay there. And it's not funny. It's not. I ran for office to do right by my neighbors and to represent my family and to make sure that my name is attached to things that are positive. Not to try to swindle the city by trying to make an imaginary place that I don't work at profit, and then bringing the treasurer into it saying that I gave him a check for reimbursement and that's why she wouldn't sign it. You all need to hold her accountable. I'm tired. I'm tired of these 7 people being the ones that have to hold her accountable. I'm tired. This is ridiculous. You don't have to like me, but respect me and respect my position. Thank you.
All right. With that being said, Senator Benson, do you have any comments before we go to citizens' comments? No? Okay. All right.
Oh, I have a question, a comment for the treasurer.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to thank Mr. Stewart and your staff for getting the debates out. I really appreciate it. Y'all doing a great job. Everybody said they're getting it in record time. Those who doing ACHs, they're getting them no problem. Those who getting them in the mail, really appreciate it. Y'all doing it's a lot. And they're staggering in one by one, groups and everything else. And y'all still processing for getting out. So appreciate all of that. And thank your staff for me too.
Councilwoman Fareed.
Thank you. I just wanted to let the citizens know that the Sephora grand opening was this past Friday. Councilwoman Guillaume and myself attended on behalf of the city of Glenarden, along with Council Chair Jolene Ivy from the Prince George's County Council, and our representative, our delegate, Andrea Harrison was there as well. It was a beautiful time. Please make sure you go over to Woodmore Town Center and fulfill your makeup and beauty needs. And I also wanted to give an update. We had a town hall about a month ago regarding the traffic over at Woodmore Town Center, and one of the action items was to discuss and prioritize how we would go about addressing that with the county. I did meet with the county council chair on Friday as well, and we discussed and prioritized what action items we would focus on. And those action items are the restriping of the lanes on St. Joseph's Place, the signage on Ruby Lockhart in both directions, as well as pedestrian crossing signs and signs that indicate the speed that you're going at. So those will now be presented to the appropriate department heads within the county to get approval for installation and a clear timeline. And once that information is made available, I will share it with everyone.
Thank you, Councilwoman Fareed. All right. Now, with that being said, now it's the time for citizens' comments. Citizens who are in the room, if you would like to make a comment, please raise your hand. I will recognize you. and you will be able to go to the podium, just state your name, and you have 5 minutes. You can talk about anything you want to, as long as it's respectful. If you're just in my line of sight, yes.
I just want to make one comment that you all would be really excited about.
Okay, yes. So,
You all know that they about perfection. But I just want you all to know that this week on Thursday, we're going to go down to have a conversation with the superintendent of
the Prince George's County Public Schools. And we've been looking at our schools here in the 24th Legislative District and in Prince George's County. And we looked at data relative to the over 800 elementary schools that are in the state, over 800. They include some middle and high schools. But it's over 800 schools in the state of Maryland. The number one highest performing school in the state of the over 800 schools is Glenarden Woods. Glenarden Woods is number one in the state. It is the highest academic performing school in the state. Now, we have some work to do at Judge Sylvania Woods, and we're going to be talking to the superintendent about Judge Sylvania Woods, and there are some other schools we're going to be talking about. But we are very concerned about the education of our children, but I thought I'd tell you all that. So we're going to see him on Thursday to talk to him about our school system and our children. And I am constantly visiting schools and talking with parents to see what we can do to raise the bar for academic excellence for our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very wonderful. Very wonderful.
all right. Thank you, Senator Benson. So citizens online or citizens in the room, if you have a comment, please come up. You have 5 minutes. Yeah.
My name is Anthony Powell. I live in Wood. I'm kind of confused here. What just happened?
If there's an event that's not sponsored by the city of Glenarden, and there's no money spent by the city of Glenarden, why is it that you care about who's spending the money? It has nothing to do with you. I mean, you spent like 25 minutes talking about an event that you had nothing to do with. I'm not trying to, take sides with anybody, but this seems like this is somewhat of a pattern. I mean, I'm not associated with the track team, but there's people here who were mad because not a lot of kids from Glenarden are on the track team. But the track team has nothing to do with the city of Glenarden. So, I mean, it's like, that's what I'm saying. If it doesn't state that it's sponsored by the city of Glenarden, then it's not a city event. You know what I mean? It has to be stated, sponsored by the city of Glenarden. If it's not, it doesn't state that, then it has nothing to do with the city of Glenarden. You spent like 25 minutes talking about an event that you had nothing to do with. I'm kind of confused. I'm not trying to take sides with anybody. I'm just kind of confused about that. It's like, I mean, nobody's stopping Glenarden from hosting events. Mm-hmm. We don't have a recreation department of any kind, so we don't host events. I mean, other cities in the county have recreation councils and recreation departments, and they host events. We just don't do that. I mean, and then when somebody hosts an event, you worry about where the money coming from and who's sponsoring this and whose name is on it. I mean, it has nothing to do with you. I'm kind of confused about that. I'm not trying to put one person against the other person or take sides, but I'm trying to, it seems like this is a pattern that's been going on in the city government, It if the Glenarden track team is not associated with the city of Glenarden, why is it that you care who's on the team or not? There was people in this room who made a big deal about that. See what I mean? I'm just kind of confused about that. Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else? I saw her hand back there.
Is there? And then I'll come to you. Well, no, I appreciate that.
Good evening. R53.
Scott, Miss Smallwood, if you could raise your voice a little bit so the people online can hear you, please.
R53 and R52. They're both talking about putting in new sidewalks and streets in Glenarden. What happened to Church Street? Church Street is where the kids walk to Sylvania Woods to go to school, and I have been asking for over a year to get those sidewalks in for those kids. Okay. I have a question for Senator Benson. Okay. Senator Benson, I think you had the meeting either in January, February this year, and you talked about a legislation that was coming up in reference to parents taking the responsibilities of their kids that does something that costs money. Can you tell me what happened to that? That's an excellent question. I got 5 minutes though. Before we went to Annapolis, there were a number of us who came together, and everywhere I went, with this carjacking and the children doing the illegal behavior and the activities that were going on around all over the place. And the consensus was that we would sponsor a bill in Annapolis that was called the Parent Accountability Act. That bill was placed before the Judiciary Committee. We had people to come down to testify, and for some reason, that bill was portions of the bill was pulled and put with other bills, and we lost the bill. Now I want you to understand that we have not given up, because this week I'm going to be meeting with the state's attorney from Prince George's County, from Baltimore City, from the Sheriff's Department, from the Police Department, from the Office of Juvenile Justice. It's about 5 or 6 group of people are going to be meeting, because we're going to resurrect that bill, and we're going to reinstate it for next year. You know what was really funny about it, and I'm going to sit down. The District of Columbia, the council from the District of Columbia, and the mayor, the state's attorney from Baltimore went into that bill and pulled certain pieces of the bill and put it with their bill in Washington and in Baltimore. And we didn't pass the bill. Very unfortunate, but we're not through. We're gonna represent it on next year. Thank you for asking that question. That was very, very important to me, because I think the parents are the children's first teacher, and that bill would have held parents accountable. In Baltimore right now, if a child commits an act, the parents are called in and they have to pay for the damages as anything else that has to do with the child. And that was a part of that bill. Thank you for asking that question. I appreciate it. Thank you. My other thing was, I looked at the public hearing meeting the other day on TV. I think the council need to get an understanding what the public hearing meeting is about. That meeting is for the citizens to come out and express their concerns. It's not for the council
to get up and try to respond to everything a citizen say, to talk to a senior the way they talk to a senior was totally disrespectful. The public hearing is for the seniors, the citizen to talk, and all the council member have to say is, we'll take it under advisement or we take it under consideration. The way y'all spoke to a senior who's probably old enough to be your mother was totally disrespectful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, your turn.
Acting City Manager, citizens, Senator Benson, nice to see you. I just have a couple of comments and a couple of questions that maybe you guys can answer for me in lieu of the absence of Ms. Habada. Okay, thanks. First of all, on behalf of the Wilmore Town Center at Glenarden HOA, we want to thank the Chief of Police and Glenarden Police, firstly for taking care of Glenarden, and secondly for always being so responsive to the Wilmore Town Center HOA when we call on you guys to help out with situations at the basketball court. So thank you guys, we really appreciate you guys. Yeah, they don't always get their kudos, so we gotta give them their kudos. Secondly, with regards to the ARPA-funded HOA grants, we submitted an application on September 23rd. I'm sorry, September of 23. We followed up with City Manager then, got a reply from her on April 25th, at which point she indicated, oh, we thought we sent out the letter to you, your letter of approval, which we never received. We received it at that point, sent in the necessary documents that followed up. We never got a response back from Ms. Habada. The same thing occurred when we first submitted our application. I mean, I think I communicated with her several times and finally got a response from her. So all that to say, now we're still in limbo because we don't know what's happening. Now she's gone. So I'm guessing we're going to be directing our questions to Mr. Simpson. Yeah, and we can just follow up with you with regards to that grant. Okay, and if we have any amendments or changes that we want to make to that grant as of now, we can make those changes through you. Okay, yeah, because things have now changed and it's been so long, we have different use for that money now. Okay, so I will follow. I'm Richard Royal Montgomery. I didn't introduce myself at first. I am also the president of the Wilmore Town Center at Glenarden HOA, so I will follow up with you. Great, thank you. There were also some questions from residents at Wilmore Town Center with regards to the tax rebate and what is the turnaround time upon submission of that tax rebate application. Some citizens at the Wilmore Town Center have been waiting for over 2 weeks with no response as well, because I know I submitted our application as well and there was no reply whatsoever as to, hey, thank you for submitting your application. We received your application, expect this, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. So I don't even know if it was actually received. And I know that some other neighbors have expressed concerns as well with regards to that the expectation and the expected turnaround for those checks. Is there someone on the council that can answer that?
What I'll say is that that for those who had a quick turnaround, those were done by mail or in person, and now the city is getting to those that were done online. Our apologies for not communicating that. I inquired about that this week as well, and that's what I found out, that the online submissions are now being worked on.
Okay, those are online. What about the mailed-in ones? Because I emailed mine in. Is that considered online?
That is considered online.
Okay, and the expected turnaround for that is?
Can I?
Yes.
Okay, so what I could explain to you is that it is a process that we started to work on, and as we are putting it together, you have a glut of emails coming in that we are now sorting out, going through, answering. One of the areas that we had is that we had an automatic reply to let individuals know that we have actually received their emails. We had to tweak it a little, and then we'll be putting it back out as soon as Wednesday. So anyone who apply as of Wednesday will be seeing a reply letting them know that we have received it, but know that we have received it. Now, what is happening is we're in a position where as we receive these applications, we are going in, looking at the documents that are being submitted, checking the bank account number, especially for the ACH, just to make sure that they are properly done. Because I've been getting kickbacks, so for those that kick back from the bank because the number is incorrect, we contact those people. If we're going through and the application miss like a receipt or miss like the tax bill, then we'll contact the individual. So it has been a process that we are going through, and it's because of the glut as well, because a lot came in. We're now going through them just to make sure everyone is not only getting their refunds, but also make sure that everything is stayed secured. So I'm personally in it just to make sure that security is well and people are getting their funds as early as possible.
Thank you for the explanation, man. I think the concern more is that people haven't heard back, so they have no idea as to when, how long does it take? So I know somebody posted something on a Facebook page and stated that they got it like within 2 days after submitting their application. And then there's some people that are like, well, I submitted mine 2-3 weeks ago and I'm still waiting.
Some of those are mainly because of some error or because we're catching up. So we are moving through as fast as we can, and you'll see some improvement in the next couple of days.
Great. Thank you. And just real quick, Mr. Simpson, can I just please get your email?
csimpson@cityofglenarden.org.
C. Simpson, okay. I got it. Thank you so much.
Can I speak as well on the HOA, the reimbursement that he's talking about?
Briefly, please.
So what is happening with regard to the HOA refunds is that this goes through Mr. Hemler, Thomas Hemler, so he will do the vetting of your application and then reach out to you, work with you to ensure that your information is all in order before they pass on to us for it to be repaid.
That's the thing, we were already approved. We received the approval letter from
Ms. Habara.
Yeah, but then that was it. And then we submitted the necessary invoices or quotes, and that was it. I never heard anything.
Okay, so
I'll follow with Mr. Simpson.
Yes, and I'll follow up with Mr. Hemler just to make sure that we are going fine with this. Please do. Yes,
I know
all right.
I'm over my 5 minutes. But it's not my fault.
Sir, you can state your name and then you can proceed.
How you doing? My name is Edward Jenkins. I live on 5th Street, 1522, 5th Street, born and raised. My quick question, well, I have a thing I can say to the chief, the police chief, that I like the response time. Every time I call for suspicious vehicles on my street, they get there in like 1 minute, sometimes like 17 seconds. So to chief, doing the, good job far as response time. My quick question is the snow removal. I see on the resolution, it says for removal in front of your house. Do we expect seniors to remove snow in front of their property? That's like it's on the sidewalk. It says right here, as far as snow removal. I know it says about property owners, like if you own a store, but it also says occupants. So, I mean, are we expecting seniors to get out there and remove snow in front of their home?
Well, no. We expect neighbors to lend a helping hand.
Well, suppose the neighbor's a senior.
Then if seniors can call us,
Okay.
then we'll be happy to help seniors in our community out and come and shovel snow. What it is the responsibility of your sidewalk and your driveway is the owner's.
Yes, I
and
know
we do
that.
understand that we have seniors here, and if a neighbor, like sometimes I either do it myself or pay for somebody to do my neighbors. But if I can't do it, then if they're seniors, then we'll be happy to come out and
So they won't,
assess.
like, if they can't do it, they won't get a citation or nothing like that?
No.
Okay. And to the chief about the Noah's ordinance, the only thing I need to know is a time, like, what's the cutoff time for, I'm not having no parties, but, I'll get with the chief as far as the cutoff time as far as Noah's ordinance. 24/7, sir. Okay.
It's 24/7 if you didn't hear it online. The noise ordinance is 24/7.
And to Senator Benson, I have a granddaughter to go to Sylvania Woods, and you said you was going to talk to them something about it. So if you can keep me updated, if you have email to find out exactly what's, going on in Sylvania Woods, because as far as I've seen, it's a good school, but I don't know, it might have some problems on the inside.
There are two issues. It's overcrowded.
Yeah, that's it. I understand.
It's overcrowded. And number two is the drawing of the line. We have children coming to Sylvania Woods from all over near College Park, University of Maryland. Why those children come all the way over? We're looking at the redrawing of the line. We've got to reduce the classes there.
Okay.
Got to do it.
All right. Well, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. 1 second. I saw her hand first, then I'll come to you. Ms. Crutchfield. Online, Ms. Crutchfield. 1 second. Well, Mr. Gray, we can't hear her if she's speaking.
I am speaking. Can you hear me? Hello?
I'm sorry, Mr. Gray, we still cannot hear her.
I'm listening. I can hear you. I can clearly hear you.
She is. Ms. Crutchfield, could you say something again, please?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Sorry, ma'am. Unfortunately, we're having technical difficulties. I can see that you're talking because your box is highlighted, but we don't hear anything. All right, hold on 1 second. 1 second, Ms. Crutchfield. All right, go ahead. So we'll come back to Ms. Crush. Actually, if you can, open the chat. If you have a question, if you could post your question in the chat, then I can try to address it. But we still cannot hear you.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Until we can hear her, unfortunately, we're having problems with hearing people online. All right, hold on. I see you.
But you cannot hear me.
Nope. All right, we'll come back to Ms. Crutchfield. Mr. Cross, you state your name and then you'll have 5 minutes.
Hello, everyone. Mario Cross, Ward 3. Had to come in, left, had to come back. I got kicked out of the meeting, and it wouldn't allow me.
Just want to know, for Councilwoman Leon, do you work for Nova Center for Community Progress.
So,
Center Progress. Another question is, when the approval of flyers go through, does that go to the city council, the city manager, and everybody, and then it's posted online, and then posted in the newsletter, and stuff like that? Because they had multiple times that have done multiple events done that had mayor still on it, the city of Glenarden, and their name on it, that had come out for several events, and there was nothing said to her. So there's a conflict, and that has been brought up in the email and just removed and getting the things they'll get it without having to come to the council meeting and put it about that. The other thing is, I don't know what my affiliation with the latest Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I think it's anything that the council memory has brought up, but just to get it out on the record, why is my fraternity, the latest Phi Fraternity Incorporated, being brought up inside of the council meeting for the city of Glenarden? And you might just be on 3 for basically streamlining what people are trying to say the conference was, the spiel on the city with another event. And that was a clarification that we put out there and made the whole conversation fall short on that center. And Councilman Hamilton came up with that one right off the bat. Probably in a lot shorter meeting right now. We get all that now watching. And also for the treasurer, have you received any deals or anything from Center for Community Progress around September 13th, 2023?
1 second.
And so we would also like to see all of the checks that Mayor Frost did not sign. I asked before. I want to see copies of those checks. Those checks are signed in cash. Then they're free. The legislation is you guys are put in place right now has been enacted yet. So any check that is signed, not by the mayor, that has been cashed, is an illegal check. And those are my questions.
Who wants to go first?
So are you done with
I'm done.
yours?
Yes.
Okay. Treasurer Stewart.
With regard to your question about the center, I have not seen that reimbursement request. I will take some time to go and search again, but I'm certain that I will not find anything of such. As a matter of fact, the Councilwoman Guillaume had actually shown us one reimbursement that she requested, and it had nothing to do with that organization. All right? Thank you very much.
You want to go first then?
I'll just add that any organizations that
are being paid from the city of Glenarden go through a very rigorous process to ensure that they are appropriate. The treasurer ensures that all the appropriate documentation, if it be a W-9 or a 1099,
all the forms would be requested if there was going to be check issued to an organization. So there would be records if we had that. I also just wanted to point out, touch on the topic of the checks and them being illegal. It's one thing, completely different than the mayor is to sign checks. There have been checks I've heard that the mayor has signed for reimbursement, the refreshments when we were going over the center health design. So these are not even necessarily big events or amounts. It was just a practice that any check for council members were not signed. And so we cannot go about in the city, whether it be to vendors or whether it be to council members, we cannot
have monies outstanding, and to even have have the city be indebted to council members. That would be inappropriate as well. So it was quite appropriate for us to proceed with other means to get those checks signed appropriately. Like, again, it would be improper for any of us as council members to be holding the city in debt to us for several hundred or even thousands of of dollars. Thank you.
And before Councilman Guillaume goes, I'll also say that the mayor also wasn't signing checks related to the police department. It was a practice, unfortunately, that if you crossed her or she didn't like you, then she didn't sign a check related to something that's related to you. And after
That's not a fair statement to say. She's not here to defend herself, but you saying she didn't like you or cross you.
Mr. Cross, now I hope that we can have a respectful dialogue. Your time is up, so I didn't interrupt your time. Please don't interrupt my time. Unfortunately, that was the case, and after an extensive number of attempts for diplomacy to try to come to some sort of agreement.
I even offered her, look, send me the checks of people who you don't like, and we won't even give them to you. But even that wasn't good enough. So that's why we took the extraordinary step. This has been a year in the making. So that wasn't our first option. And unfortunately, it came to the result of, look, we just need the business of the city to get done. And so in best interest of the city, we need to remove the mayor from signing checks and put another person on to sign checks. Councilwoman Guillaume.
Thank you, Council President. I'm going to answer what the mayor's husband just asked. And I also forgot to ask, while I had asked the treasurer, I also forgot to ask you, Council President, you, Councilwoman Fareed, and Councilwoman Ferguson, who's online, since you guys sign checks, have you ever
Sign a reimbursement check with my name on it from the Center for Community
progress?
No, I have not.
No, I have not. I just want to say that's not even possible. It would not be a check, but it would be in Councilwoman Guillaume's name and an organization. It would be to that organization. And again, in order for that organization to pay or even to request to be paid, there would need to be proper documentation in place, a purchase order, a proper invoice, the documentation report done as a vendor. This is very well documented and well known amongst the country. So what even being stated was an impossible situation.
Thank you, Councilwoman Fareed. And again, let me
No, I have not, Council Ferguson.
Your wife, the occupant of the mayor's office, stated that I work for Center for Community Change, and she stayed 10 toes down, repeating it over and over and over again. Now you come here and you say, do you work for Center for Community Progress? Yes, I do. I work for the Center for Community Progress, and let me be very clear for all the citizens to see, when I shared my screen, I showed a reimbursement from August 2023. I was not president in 2023 of the Center for Community Progress. You can't find any documentation that would show anything close to that. So your wife, the occupant of the mayor's office, stayed there, stood there, sat there, refused to move, repeating a lie over and over and over again. And now what I'm going to tell you as a citizen to another citizen is, please, if you are in marital bliss and you need to just stay and co-sign whatever lie comes out of your spouse's mouth, just say that. Add a disclaimer to whatever you say, because it's becoming tiring for a lot of people, not just us as council members. We hear it from citizens as well. My husband is sitting right here. He walked up in here, actually. And my husband has came on that microphone, and he's never either co-signed everything that he agrees or disagrees with me. He's his own person. So if you're going to come up here and ask about Center for Community Progress, yes, I gladly serve. I made history, actually, when I became the president, proudly, of the Center for Community Progress. And guess what? We have general counsel. We also have a board. Mail does not come to my house. You do not see my address on the website. And my general counsel, for those of us who work with ethics and who has a board that also follows ethics and governance, they'll tell you that it's a conflict of interest. So not even for the city, but for them. So they cannot do work with the city without my recusing myself. So your spouse, the occupant of the office of the mayor, should look up while she's looking up Central Committee change and then Central Committee progress. Have her look up slander tonight, and have you come here and ask that question. Thank you.
Sir.
I said what I said.
Sir.
There was no mistake.
Your
I
time
was
is
not communicating. All I had was point of order. I was not in their conversation.
Your time is
Mr. Powell did an excellent job. Everybody did an excellent job in their commentary. Mr. Powell came up there, he asked questions, and he made a point about people who were asking for certain things. I was not one of them.
During that exchange, I didn't look. I just stayed. I was taking my notes. And she, your spouse, brought me in it unfairly and continued to lie.
Not a
And
lie.
lied. She lied. I said what I said. If it's not the truth, it's a lie. It's not, there's nothing. And when like I say, slander is if you're doing something with malicious intent, you know daggone well that I never, ever had a check getting reimbursed from my organization for what? My organization doesn't even do the stuff that you guys are asking for.
Thank you.
You're not welcome.
Councilmember Herring?
Yeah, because he did ask a question about why I brought up his organization, because it's a violation of the Ethics Code. Ethics Code, Chapter 16 of the code clearly states that there's a conflict of interest when any of your qualified relatives, and a husband is a qualified relative, have an interest in whatever you're doing, and he has an interest in what she's doing. He's part of that organization that's there. Also, the Ethics Code also says that any qualified business, that nonprofit is considered a business. No, she cannot be affiliated with it, and she cannot participate in it, and she cannot be using the city's seal to promote her organization. And it has nothing to do with who we get. And I'm having an event and I have people coming out, but I don't sit there and ask these people for money or for donations. She's asking for money. And that's the big difference here. It isn't. We use a lot of organizations, and a lot of organizations come and help out the city. We get grants through all types of organizations, but we don't sit there and say, okay, well, you know what, we want you to also promote our organization and give us donations. We don't do that. That's not right, and she should not be doing that, and she should divest herself from any of that. And it is a serious ethics issue, if not something even deeper. So again, people want to look at it because it's an organization and it's an organization and they helping. No, you don't just do it because it's helping somebody. You got to do it the right way, though. There's a right way and a wrong way to get help, and this is not the right way. This is the wrong way because it doesn't look good, and it puts the city really in jeopardy. Because again, that seal's sitting on there saying that we are part of that organization. If something happens, somebody hurts themselves over there, I guarantee you they're going to see that seal and they're going to come to Glenarden and want to sue the city of Glenarden. Guaranteed. So thank you.
Okay. Ms. Crutchfield. We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Air is clear and it's kind of peaceful. I have a question about the City of Glenarden real estate tax rebate. So it says, I looked on this application thoroughly. It says, I swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that all information I gave to the town of Capitol Heights, I stopped right there. You caught my attention. Is this the town of Capitol Heights or Glenarden?
I'm sorry. It is.
So that's my question. It says the town of Capitol Heights.
It was correct.
I'm sorry?
We have feedback. It was corrected. It was an error. It's a town of the city of Glenarden, and that error unfortunately went out, but it has subsequently been corrected.
Okay. My other question is, because I didn't want to write my name on this when it wasn't corrected. I have another question about this. Now, let's see, I wrote down some notes. Okay. Did this need to go through the controller or the IRS because it's a tax rebate? That's another question.
This is a city rebate, so it's coming through the city of Glenarden.
Okay, so in other words, it doesn't need to go through a controller or IRS.
No.
Okay, another question. How can we be sure that our information is protected? Because some of this information you're asking for it concerns me. Your deed, your mortgage statement, driver's license, your property tax bill. These are some very important documents that we're giving over to you.
Yeah. If you feel more comfortable, you're more than welcome to bring those documents directly to the treasurer, and none of that is allowed to leave the office of the treasurer. There are many security protocols. His office is locked. Nobody can access his office or the finance office. So if I understand your level of comfort and your concern, so if you would like to come up here directly, and we can take care of you.
Okay, last question. This is still about the tax rebate. I just have to ask all these questions to be sure I understand what I'm signing over and what I'm receiving. So are we going to be taxed, or are our taxes going to be increased as a result of the tax rebate? And where's this coming from? Was this from the money from the pandemic reserves or what?
Yes. So the city of Glenarden has a healthy surplus in reserves. And as a token to our citizens, we decided, why don't we give the citizens of Glenarden a tax rebate? And so that's what this is. Simply, you paid a tax a while ago, and it's coming back to you.
Okay, thank you, President Derrick. It sounds great. Another thing, I just want to say, I just pray. I like unity, and I've said this 100 times probably. I just pray that you all can come together with the mayor and figure this all out, because I'm like Mr. Powell. If money is not coming out of your pockets and we're getting help and support, I understand what Mr. Herring is saying by saying, hey, where do these people are sending these donations? Are we in one accordance with it? Are we following the charter? I understand all of that. But if we can get money to generate to help the citizens of Glenarden, I'm on board with it. I'm not choosing sides. I love everyone. But that's just me. What can we do to help the city of Glenarden? That's where I am with all of this. Thank you for taking my comments.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Gaither?
Yes, good evening. I'm Alicia Gaither, and I'm here in Ward 1. I'm just trying to find out how you can find out the status of your application. I actually dropped mine off a couple of weeks ago. So on the website for Glenarden, it says you can either email the finance office, which I did twice, and no response, or it says you can call, and I've called and the mailbox is full. So what do I do now? I did mail it in. I didn't do it online. I dropped it off.
Okay. So Treasurer Stewart is going to look into your return, Ms. Gaither, and we will follow back up with you.
Okay, and I have one more other thing that I wanted to say. I hope the council sometime in the near future will revisit the issue here in Ward 1 with the parking and the commercial vehicles and all the other vehicles, because it is a concern here. And I think that I know you want to go to all at-large members, but there is something to be said about having a representative in your ward who actually feels what's going on in the ward every day, versus if you're just kind of driving around and you don't really get the full picture of what's going on here. That's all I had to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other public comments? Ms. Wilson?
I am former council member, so that's I have questions, but I feel like to share my strength and my peace. Last Wednesday night, May 7, 2024, at the public hearing, I had questions and concerns on R7 2021. A representative to hire municipal grant service, the grant proposal, project name. Instead of answering my questions, it's encouraged that it was necessary to tell me that those things were discussed in closed meeting and that I should not have had knowledge of those things. I tried to explain those things had been discussed in public meetings. Ms. Gilliam and Ms. Marie felt it was necessary to repeat the exact same thing which Mr. Curtis had said to me. So for clarity, in the April 1st, 2024 work session, around the 32-minute mark, there is a discussion from council members and city manager about the contractor, the recommended contractor, as well as the discussion of the attorney. In addition, I received a letter which was addressed to me dated April the 3rd, 2024, which speaks of the attorney. So based on these sources, I can only make a conclusion that I did. Yes, I have been a council person 16. I know the lingo. I know the process. So based on these things, like how much what will work. When you put two and two together, you can only come up with those two. Mr. Curtis, you and Ms. Gilliam and Mr. Reed, you're the ones who hold me the things that we discussed because your comments confirm the things that I'm saying. So thank you very much. After the meeting, Mr. Curtis, I told you that a public meeting was for the purpose of citizens to be able to voice their opinions about legislation. So for whatever reason, you, Ms. Gilliam, and Mr. Reed apparently feel that you must comment after I say something. It has happened not just at the May 15th public hearing, but at it happens too often. I feel that I was attacked. I feel that I was disrespected. I feel that the three of you try and discount and counter what I say. I feel that you try to cover up what I say so that citizens will think that you are correct and that I don't know what I'm doing. The citizens of Glenarden will one day come to realize that the wool has been pulled over their eyes by you. In the basic 2024 work session, around 56 minutes and 30 seconds on, Council Secretary raised some important questions concerning contract for this particular contract. Things like contract automatically renewed. Things like the contract was changed and was not the same as the previous contract. Item number 7 about termination, that the contract had not been put out to bid, etc. What was most damaging and disheartening was that you were asked if the attorney had gone to the contract. Your answer was, it will be sent to the attorney. R-57-2024 should never have been presented to citizens at a public hearing prior to it being seen by our city attorney. When it was asked that it be removed from the agenda for the public meeting, every last one councilman voted to keep it on, except for Councilman Glenarden and Harrison, in spite of the fact it had not gone before the attorney and it still needed to be worked on. This is clearly a disservice to the citizens of Glenarden. In my opinion, you're not concerned about keeping the city out of trouble, nor concerned about taxpayer dollars. Mr. Curtis, in my opinion, you are so disrespectful.
on May 15, 2024, you called me a liar. I don't disrespect you. I don't attack you. You called me out of my name, and you did it in front of other citizens of the city. I am a senior citizen of Glenarden, and I am old enough to be your mother. Apparently, there are members of this council who think it's okay to call people out of their name, but that's not okay with me. As I said on Wednesday, you are disrespectful to senior citizens. With all due respect, please do not comment because these are my opinions and my experience. Thank you.
Council President, you think please turn the microphone on?
That is fine. Yeah. 1 second, 1 second, please. Thank you. I'm gonna come to you in a second. Is there anything? No? Oh, I thought you looked in like you want to say something. Oh, okay, go ahead.
One thing, and when facts are presented and they're incorrect, I do think it's important for facts to be corrected. If you the comments about the police, there are certain requirements that we have as council members to maintain the confidentiality of those defined closely. So when someone who is not present in that is discussing those meetings in a public setting, it does two things. One, it really information that was supposed to be private has been shared. But two, it's also a disservice to the citizens who are listening because they're not hearing the full context because the discussion was held in private. So even if some things were alluded to in open session, you do not have the benefit of the full conversation. And we are not it's not, or it wouldn't be appropriate for us to discuss those conversations because that's what they were expecting. So the issue for me in particular was the fact that we have a concern that closed session issues are being brought to others as we heard. And that is an issue. That is not the fault of the city. And anyone is feeling victimized because the fact of the matter is that information could have been used by a of which the citizens are not. That is the big issue that we need to address. We are discussing things now. Perhaps to triangulate and get people to be on the side of, what someone's opinion was or their stance is. But the fact of saying that what was stated was not a complete depiction of what actually happened. As it relates to our conversation with the attorney, we did not have this conversation with the attorney. So that was just something that was incorrect. And these meetings are public. These are full public records. People who are not present in these meetings the information afterwards, and if it was and clear up the record. I do not recall anyone, and particularly myself, being disrespectful to anyone or even addressing something, but rather the situation and the context of the conversation that was not fully disclosed, cannot be disclosed on that. And those are going to be probably closed. Sorry, just to follow up on that. I think, it's really unfair to come up and present yourself as a victim, but then refer to both Councilwoman Guillaume and myself as females in a derogatory way. I have been nothing but respectful to the senior community who do not, and I do not like me. I'm respectful. I am always cordial. I make out of this. maybe even when it was deserved. So I take issue with being referred to in a disrespectful way, especially when I was not physically present to be able to address that in a way that I would have felt was appropriate. So I just want, I've said this before and I will continue to say it. Whenever something is said that is incorrect in terms of a recollection of events and where I'm associated with it, I will clarify. This is not again, this is a correctional step.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Thank you. And this is for all citizens to hear, since the person who spoke just said that she didn't want commentary. So I will offer to law since my name is mentioned. On April 1, a council meeting was held, and on 34-minute mark, so you can all look at that. April 1, Councilman Herring had said, it's not, I'm sorry, not Councilman Herring, I apologize. The city manager had said, it's not advisable, and President Cruz asked, what is your recommendation? That was it. As far as the contractor, that was it. Not advisable, or what is your recommendation? On the 45-minute, 12-second mark, that's when Councilman Herring said, we also got advice from the attorney also about this situation, and I think we need to look closely about that situation. That was it. On the 54-minute, 12-second mark, Councilman Herring again wisely stated, the advice that we got from the attorney, we should not be discussing in open session, and that's like, you are correct, we're going to discuss it in closed session. That was the only time on April 1 that anything was stated about the attorney. Nothing about what the attorney said. The attorney could have said, I think you should go and find somebody about it. You don't know what the attorney did. And some of us were like, well, what did the attorney do? I think Councilwoman Jones even asked, like, what about? And I had the same thing because I was like, I never spoke to an attorney. That was one. Last week, during a public hearing, what was stated, and I have the transcript, was from listening to meetings of the council. It's my understanding the city manager had recommended his contract be terminated, and the council agreed, gave her the go-ahead to terminate him. So my question is, why are we extending another contract to him when she said she was unable to work with him? That was never stated publicly. That was never stated. You can't find a meeting that says that. If it's in a letter, it's in a letter. But what was said was in a meeting. That's what was stated. And then it went further to say, apparently, he's not working out with the city manager. Why is the council bringing him back and undermining the city manager? Then we thought it was done. I thought it was done. Then it was the citizen said, they're not understanding why we're bringing the contractor back to do work for the city when clearly he and the city manager don't get along. That was never stated. He's not listening to her or whatever. That was never stated. And then the citizen said, just based upon the information I've gotten from you all's meeting, not from a letter, you all's meeting, he's not working with her and she can't work with him. You're forcing her to work with him. When I heard that, after council president responded to the citizen's comment, I jumped in because I said, not only did we ever discuss what the attorney said publicly, what I added was I personally never, ever, 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 ever met with an attorney about this contractor. And I asked all of my colleagues, all 7 of them, from Councilman Herring to Councilman Hairston to Councilwoman Jones to Council President to Council Vice President Angela Ferguson to myself and to Councilwoman Fareed. In everybody's presence, when the 7 of us, I said, did you all, each or any of you speak to the attorney about this? And they all said no. So when I hear someone saying this, and it's not fact, and is being presented as facts because they said in a meeting, It was never, ever presented. And I, similar to Councilwoman Fareed, I reject the notion that people are going to come and say whatever they want, and when they are correcting, automatically they attack me. Automatically, you all confirm, you attack me, you're the victim. When if you are a senior, we're all going to get, good Lord, I hope, gives us all time to be senior. But that doesn't give you the right to say whatever you want, sometimes disrespectfully, and go and say, well, you can't talk back to me because I'm a senior. And with all due respect, this is a council that was elected in 20. So being referred to as female, I know the gender and the sex that I am. But you know my name when you call me. You know how to address me when you call me. And similar to Councilwoman Fareed's comment, I always show respect. Always. But I am not going to go and put on this Scarlet Letter, attack. She attacked me when anyone can play back the meeting from last week and hear that there was no attack. There was clarity of this was not ever discussed. Ever. And no conversation. Not one was had in the meeting.
Okay, good. No? Okay. Good comment. Do you have comment? No. I believe so. Just yes.
Why do you think that? And aggressive is but then when you accuse yourself, that is not true. They it's trust the self that you take it. It's how okay. What I'm thinking about is that wow, how come I'm going person? I'm time to move on. Time to move. Okay? Then when it was brought up again by someone by pushing the oh, women, oh, women, no, then I was talking about the politics of damage to capital first. Compliment parents but what I do there, and I'm thinking, I want it, but you I don't even do it. I want to tell this thing because I have back from both. But when you take this back and you take the then you're making comments, then you're talking about the president. Oh, well, I can just say me talk to people like this. Now, I have never heard people disrespect anyone. Councilwoman Gilliam, never. None of them. Okay? But what I also was those of you come up here and talk disrespect. And find something small and you pick up and say your name in the war that you are doing. And that's when it's I have all conversations. They all know guess what they don't. How many of y'all up here have I told about the issue? Raise your hand. But I don't post it.
That's how in the store. That's the bottom line.
So whether it's on orange or whether it's, you know, people are whatever, doesn't matter to me. If you are part of the citizens, part of the public, or willing to, they we got smoke shops in this one. You don't have to put three, but I am point three that represent that part of what I say, right? They don't live, but they just like you are, one. So can we please just get along and stop them?
Embarrassment. It's embarrassing. This city is too great. It has too much history for us to sit here like this. This woman right here, before she was Senator Benson, represented my mother with Prince George's County Public School System, and she helped my mother win her case. I knew this when I was like this. And I know what flows through Glenarden. And it's greatness. Everybody in here is great. We have got to get along. The toxic and the poison and the cancer was there. Do something about it, citizens. Stop tolerating it. Stop listening to it. Stop being bought by a turkey or a gift card. Stop the foolishness. I've already called stuff out, and I will continue to call it out. We have got to do better. Better is available, and I expect it from everybody in here. And stop attacking the police department because they're doing a great job. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for speaking truth to power.
Thank you.
Comments?
Yeah, I just want to say before I want to share my screen. Also, can I share the screen? Oh, okay. Yeah. On June the 1st, we'll be having Councilman Harrison wanted to have an education and motivation seminar. His idea that he brought up. And so we actually got some pretty good speakers that's coming in to speak. We got a woman, Dr. Marcia Burnett Whitaker. She's a motivational speaker, and she has a girls' academy. It's kind of funny because when I was talking to her, she's like, "Oh, you know my dad." I said, "Who's your dad?" And she's like, "You know, Dr. Burnett." I said, "Dr. Burnett, Dr. Burnett." She's like, "You know, both her parents actually got killed in a car crash. They ran under a truck." And she's like, "Oh, Dr. Burnett." I said, "Is it?" I said, "Dennis Burnett?" And she's like, "Yeah, the dentist." I said, "Okay, yeah," because my mom used to go to her dad as a dentist. So we have her coming in, and then we have Shonda Bellamy, who's going to speak on senior services. We have another speaker named Jessica Wade. She's going to speak on artificial intelligence and ethics on artificial intelligence. We have another speaker, a gentleman named Eric Reese, who got into some trouble when he was younger and ended up pulling himself up, becoming his own businessman, does financial literacy, and I think he has his own restaurant. We have another speaker named Rose Green. I think she's going to be very interesting. She's 86 years old, and she's a marathon runner. And she's going to speak and talk about healthy living, you know, at any age. And we got a young gentleman who just got his PhD, Dr. Joseph Isaac, and he's a computer scientist. And finally, we got our keynote speaker, the wonderful, marvelous Miss Kathleen Guillaume Delamar, who's our keynote speaker, and she's going to be there. So I'm hoping everybody come out for it. It's going to be a really good event. We got some good vendors that's going to come out, that's going to share information with the citizens. So, like I said, we look forward to seeing you on June the 1st. So, 1 to 4 p.m. So, yeah, it should be a good event for everybody.
All right. Well, citizens, thank you very much. Our next
meeting will likely be in June with our work session, which will be virtual. Actually, no, we have a special work session coming up as relates to the goal. But The council reserves the right to go into closed session anytime during a public meeting pursuant to the Annotated Code of Maryland, State Government Article Section 10-508A. The council by majority vote may retire to executive or closed session at any time during the meeting. Should the council retire to executive closed session, the chair will announce the reason and a report will be issued at a future meeting disclosing the reasons for such closed session. And the purpose for this closed session is to discuss a legal matter. With that, is there a motion to adjourn to closed session, to close the open session? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Any discussion? This is what you guys asked for. All right. Well, Madam Clerk, could you do a voice vote, please?
Councilwoman Fareed?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's important. Let's do the vote and then we'll run. All right, so we're going to do that after we vote. Okay? So we won't close it until we discuss Memorial Day.
Councilwoman Dion?
Yes.
Councilman Hairston?
Yes. Yes.
He said yes.
Okay. Councilwoman Jones?
Yes.
Councilman Herring?
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferguson?
Yes.
And Council President Curtis?
Yes.
Vote carried.
Councilman Herring has something to say.
Yes, so on Monday, at the
Good. All right, with that, this session is now closed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You are